Hi, fantasy book lovers, TGIF. This is Thank Gods It's Fantasy Podcast. We are Kayla, Veronica, and Bryanna, three best friends who love talking about all things books, from the romance, the conflict, and of course, morally gray men. Every 2 weeks, we will be getting together to talk about our theories, opinions, and reviews of our current read. Please read along, join in, and be one of our book besties too. Welcome to our show. Thanks for joining us. In this episode, we'll be talking about the second half of Heat of the Everflame, written by Penn Cole. This is the third book of the Kindred's Curse saga. Before we start, we'd like to make our usual disclaimer that many of the things we discuss might be more suitable for more mature audiences. We are all adults here, so if explicit language or content is not for you, then turn back while you still can. So the last thing that happened before we started this second half of this book was that Diem fell off the balcony or whatever. She jumped off, something happened. This was right after she released her shield from all of the centenaries over at the Umbros Palace, and she absorbed all their powers. And we were like, what happened? What happened? And Sorai and Luther and Zalaric and who else was there? Alix was also still there. Yes.
And Taryn.
And Taryn.
were
Sorai
also
had a
there.
lot of people on her back, man.
Like what,
bless her.
5 total? Jeez.
Holding the team on her back.
And she's still hauling ass.
She's hauling ass. She's trying to get out of there because
Poor babe.
Diem knows that Yourcell is gonna get them. She is on her way. Yourcell actually chases her with her own Gryvern. And it's so hard that poor Sorai has to just try to go as fast as she can, and her poor little wings.
When she tried so hard, she's like, the way they described it, I was like, go!
I know, but I thought it was pretty amazing that finally Diem realized that she can help Sorai by using her Maros magic and pushing wind through her and using her shield also. And then we also discovered that Zalaric was not mind fucked like we thought. We thought his mind was going to be noodles, and
yeah,
I know.
I'm so glad that was not the case. I felt very relieved.
So did I. But this was also the first time that Diem conjured ice. And I think this is when Luther was like, I was right. She has all the magic, except she needs to go to one more place. And that place was Sophos.
Had she been to Montios already?
Apparently, yes. We had thought she hadn't, but she had been.
Stepped over with Henry. That's the one where they just like stepped over the border for a second. That's right. That's right.
But Diem, okay, so she still had that jar, that Everflame jar that she bought in the market over in Umbros, and in all the fighting she loses her grip on it and it falls into like the sacred sea and the jar shatters. But right when Diem needed help, the fires rose to her to like help her, and I thought I was like, how did that happen? It was just fire, but I guess maybe it was the essence. But this fire belonged to the Gryvern from Montios, which we later discover that she is more important to them than we thought, more than I thought.
Sure is.
Sure is. But we'll come to that. We'll come back to that. Finally get away from Yourcell and her Gryvern. But it was because the lavender flames had basically burned her. But Yourcell was really angry when she left. And we find out later why she was so angry, like much, much later. And I can't wait to actually talk about that. So after I was flying, they make it back to Lumnos, but Luther is dying. You guys, he is so sick. That poison, that Godstone poison that's in his body, it's basically everywhere besides his heart. And Diem starts to panic and she's losing it. She can't even focus on anything else. And they're like trying to get to the castle because this is where she ends up healing Luther. But they tried everything. This is actually like when they're getting ready to say goodbye because it looks like things are so grim for him.
Mara tells her to.
Like Diem goes
like,
and sends. No. Diem goes and gets Alix to go get Mara to bring all of her things, like basically just bring back the whole healer center if you can. And then Teller shows up with Lily, and Lily is distraught because her big bro is not
Mhm.
responsive anymore. And then Teller, of course, seeing Lily so sad, and then his sister so sad, to put rain on everyone's already sad, sad day. Remus and Ivana show up, to be supportive parents for once in their life. Well, Ivana, not really. She was never, I mean,
I was gonna say
She's
more
there
so
to
Remus.
support Lily.
Yes.
are they?
It talks about her, like, holding Lily the whole
Oh,
time.
Ivana was there to support Lily. Okay. And I'm
Correct.
like,
Mhm.
but Remus,
Remus was mhm.
Remus? He's a
I
he's a tough
know.
one, man. Because
I,
he did seem upset. He was, like, staring
Correct.
at him the whole time. But I'm
yes,
like, "Are you upset because you're losing your son? Are you upset because
you're losing your
whatever you
power.
thought he would
Hmm.
become is not, or are you actually excited because you think that, like, then you're going to be one of the more powerful Corbois once you get, like, your son out of the way? I don't know what his motivations are, but he does a lot of fucked up shit in this book.
I know. I really thought, I was like, oh, he's turning
Yeah.
around, right? He sees his son on the brink of death, and he is going to turn around and he's going to help support Diem because
Yeah.
he has no power. So the only way that he can be a part of this is if he supports them. But it's
Nope.
I was disappointed. I don't know if I was surprised, but I was disappointed anyway. Mara, because it doesn't look good for Luther, decides to give Diem a drought for him. Like, this relieves his pain, and this will help him basically like slip into a,
A peaceful death.
a merciful death. And it kind of reminded me of Romeo and Juliet kind of thing where they take that poison. But
Mm-hmm.
So sad.
so when Mara comes, she brings over all her notes from her mom to see if there's anything in there that Diem had possibly missed from her previous research to see if it can help with the Godstone poisoning. And there was one part in there that she just kept rethinking about or just kept skimming over. And it was basically her name and Corel, which is the island, and then Godstone equals death and life equals, and then a question mark. And I was like, what did we think this means? This is
I
Diem?
don't know. Okay. This would be way jumping ahead, but this just popped into my head right now. Godstone obviously has a different effect on Diem. She's able to eradicate it. She's
Mhm.
able to cure it with her blood, and she's able to make it also. I feel like whatever happens to her in the last few seconds of this book is almost an unleashing. So it's almost like the Godstone is giving her life. I'm like, is it stripping her of her mortal life and making her a kindred? Is she
Ooh,
becoming now a primal power? So it's stripping away what was previously descended or whatever, and now she's becoming true primal power because she has that
yeah.
primal power in her. Because they talk about
How
she
it's
uses
different.
the word primal a lot when it's referring to her godhead, and godhood,
Godhood.
Got
godhood, not godhead. That sounds dirty.
It did.
It does
it.
sound dirty, but she uses that word a lot when it's an ancient primal, and that to me speaks to a
Kindred.
kindred. So, and whatever is happening to her as she's dying at the end from the Godstone being thrust through her chest, sorry, spoiler alert, is not really dying. It's
Yeah.
kind of like she's feeling warm and she's like hurts and then it doesn't. It's a very interesting
Verbiage
passage.
for
No,
mhm.
I thought she died. I thought she was gonna. Obviously, she's not gonna die because there's a whole other book. But I wasn't trying to, because I feel like people, whenever they have that experience of getting cut, they don't even realize that they got stabbed through, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh shoot, and then you're like, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's not. So that's how I was reading it. I wasn't thinking like you're evolving, but she might be
That
also
I don't
evolving.
that didn't come to me until reading this, and I was like, "Oh,
Well, and I think she could die, see some of these kindred spirits, and come
Yeah,
back. And
yeah.
I hope she
mm,
talks with them because that to me would be because we've got to find out. Getting ahead, we've got to find out more about her dad.
yeah."
No,
Clearly, there is a serious story behind all of that, and we're getting like little bits and pieces of it.
mm-hmm.
But we need to know more And obviously we need to learn how the fuck to take him out, because
Her dad,
how?
yeah, right.
Literally how. And so I just feel like we need a lot more information than we currently have. And
Mhm.
so her dying to be able to talk to them and coming back would be a great way to do that. Obviously, there's
Totally.
other ways to do it too, but I could see that being one of the ways.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. That end
Yeah,
was
that would be
wild.
good. Yeah, because they obviously do not like their brother, didn't trust their brother. It's repeated over and over
No,
again.
no, they didn't. I don't think they had a problem with the Kindred. I
It
think
they say over and over
I
again,
was
"Do
gonna say,
not trust our brother. Don't trust the younger brother. Don't trust the
oh,
younger brother." Every time she gets a crown, it's "Don't trust our brother."
yeah.
And then it's
maybe
written in Montios's journal. It says, "Darkness surrounding our brother. I'm
mm,
concerned about him. He hasn't taken a mate. They are worried about him." And it alluded to the fact that he could have been involved or did not have any problem with what happened on their original planet.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
why did I
Mhm.
Which
not
we
read
don't
that?
know anything about
We
either.
don't know
So
anything about other than
Mm.
it was
probably
bad.
the whole planet probably died and he probably was cool with that because that's kind of his thing.
Just
It does
taking
seem
over
like he likes
places.
the starting over situation. He seems,
Well, yeah, he's taking all the children.
yeah.
Who's taking all the children? Omnos or the
Mhm.
son of Omnos?
I mean, do you think that's his son or do you think that's really him?
I think that's Omnos.
I think that's Omnos.
Oh shit,
Both
you guys!
both okay?
Yeah, I don't think that's his son. I think that's him.
Definitely Omnos.
What?
Because I think he's way too
Way too
powerful to
powerful.
not be Omnos'
Oh my
son.
god, you guys are just blowing my
And
mind.
she is too powerful to even be diluted by one generation. She
Correct. I
I
agree.
don't know. Zalaric was pretty fucking powerful, and he was diluted by lots of generations. Well, I guess not lots of generations because
not
they're so pure.
okay. Luther is stronger than any other descended, and he describes his as a spark and her as the sun.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because he loves her.
Well, no, I think he also is very like aware of her power, and the
Yeah,
way they describe her dad's is very similar to hers. Obviously, I think his is a little bit of
tenfold.
a step up, but yeah,
Mhm.
a little bit, just a little bit. But no, I think
Just like
he's
suffocates them when like
Hmm.
he comes in the area. It's his aura is so much that it's like suffocating.
Okay, so since we're
yeah.
not following the traditional thing that we usually do, let's just talk about the things. Okay, so you know how he puts like the 10-pointed star on her chest. Do you think
Yeah.
Yes.
is he really protecting her? Do you really think that he's like got those daddy instincts, or do you think he's saving her for something else?
It's not a daddy instinct, I don't think. I think he's saving her for something else, or he could want an heir to start on like to start
Ugh,
his next
Mhm.
because he's taking the children. So every time they take a descended city, they
they
kill
keep the children. Yeah.
they kill every adult descended and then they keep all the children. No one knows where the children are at. He's obviously trying to rebuild the world.
In his image.
Mhm.
Do you think because Orly stole her away from him, he just feels some sort of way with children, just like how Diem feels a certain way about children also being hurt. Like he can't let them be hurt because
Mm-mm. I don't think
dang
he
it.
has
I'm too
empathy in
much of
him.
a like, yeah, that
I was gonna say the way Orly describes their whole interaction,
He's very
like
manipulative.
it's very manipulative. I got really like,
really? You didn't think that
yes,
she loved him?
no.
She
I
loved
mean,
him.
I think she
He I
loved
don't know
him,
that
correct.
his was real.
Really? Man,
Or if it was not to the
it was
same,
fleeting. I think it was
He knew he
correct.
needed his offspring's blood to
mm,
break the Heartstone to release him. So he finally had
mm.
a woman there that he could woo, and rather than forcing someone, he could very easily just
'Cause they were both alone and she wasn't
well,
going
and
anywhere.
who knows? It might need to be willing. You may not be able to like
Mhm.
use your heir might not be able to be a product
Yeah,
of
because they do that a lot where, like, it has to
yeah,
be willingly
things have to
given.
be willingly given. So
Mhm.
he got her to love him worked out for him. He had a good time on them. But I did think that it was interesting that she automatically went to that he was going to kill her, because I was like, yeah, he just needs her blood. He literally could have like pricked the baby's finger and been like, geek.
It was
Yeah.
the fact he was holding the knife, though, over her heart that
Yeah.
made her jump to that conclusion, though, which
Mhm.
Yeah.
to me, again, if you only need a little bit of blood, why are we going for the death kill almost looking?
Maybe
Like,
there was a ritual. Maybe there was a ritual and he had to, like, hold it by her heart to keep it safe, and then he was gonna just
you're
do a little
really
heel
putting
prick.
a lot of faith in this
You're
man, and I
giving
don't know
really
why.
intense Diem
DM
vibes
vibes.
right now. And I don't know how I feel
Honestly.
about it.
Honestly,
I know
though.
how
You
you
are
feel about it because you get
seeing
very
seeing the good in too many people right now.
the
And I don't
denial
feel a
trope.
lot of good from him at all.
I know, but
No, because he was
she feels something for him. She wants to, like, see the
I
good in
agree.
him.
Of course she does. She
It's her
lost her
dad.
father, and this
Yeah.
is a chance to have another father potentially. And truly, all she has so far, other than her interaction in Sophos, is hearsay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
He has to prove his
Horribleness.
badness or goodness to her. Even though I'm like, he hasn't proven that by all the freaking people that he's murdered. He just murdered a lot of people.
He murdered a lot of people.
A lot of
Speaking of
people.
murder, so he uses a 10-pointed star to mark who he's protecting, but then all the people that end up dead have the 10-pointed star on their
He
skin. Do you
burns it
think
onto them.
he burns it onto them, or do you think the mortals are carving it into the descended? Because that's what they were doing in
I was
Sophos.
trying to think of that. I was like, that's just a lot of time that it takes to carve that into hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bodies.
I mean, I feel like they're all
And he burned
angry.
it into her just by like geek
Yes, he did that to her as her being a
protection.
marked one. Yes, and that's how they are
Yeah.
able to tell the difference between who is with them and who is not with them. I'm starting to think that maybe the ones who had died were carved into by the mortals because the mortals are so angry.
Oh my
They're
god.
They're so angry.
can I just
So
say,
mad.
when she let Vance go,
I could not.
I wanted
I
to
could not.
fucking riot. I'm not kidding. I was livid. I was like, how are you still trying to
Shaker.
see the good in this man when he
I know.
literally was purposely going away from adult descended and going specifically
To the kids.
for children? That's sick.
I wanted
Well,
Luther to
and the
fuck him up.
fact that how do you say it? Ofake? Ofakai?
Ofakai.
Ofakai. Ofakai. He was saved, like the children would disappear. So like they wouldn't end up dead there. So Vance might be just doing this on his
Well,
own.
or maybe we just got to look at what's really happening to the children.
Yeah, Vance. Vance is fucking shit up because he's a dick.
He's a
Oh.
sick man.
Okay, so let's talk about Little Miss Orly. Because they go to she finally makes it to Fortos after she saves Luther with
Okay.
she blasted it out of him without her
Wait,
blood.
I was
No,
gonna. No, no,
Okay. Go ahead.
no.
Wasn't there like a balance she felt in her body?
wait.
She had cut herself though again,
Oh,
and
you're
was
right.
very.
You're right. You're right. I forgot about that. She
This
cut
bitch
her palm.
totally bled on him.
You're right.
Still, I fucked. There was no way it was the fucking cure she was given. It was
No.
fucking her again.
No, you're
and she was
right.
still blissfully unaware.
That's right
Well,
because
and we got that confirmation later.
she was seconds close from pouring this potion of death into his mouth.
Mhm.
Until like the compass whirled to life and was like, this is what your heart's desire is. And then she gave him the Sophos medicine and thinks that was it. You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot
It
about
was her
that
blood.
part.
Still her blood.
Yes, because
I
she
could
cut her
not-
hand. Anyway, we'll get to it. The compass points to what her heart most desires. And she poured down this potion in the process. She's like, oh, wait, that's not going to work. Let me save some of it for his wound. And then she puts the last bit of it in his wound and she put her blood.
Arboros.
Arboros!
It was Arboros. There we go.
I just saw that you wrote in here, Lumnos tits, Luther is alive.
I love it.
Oh my god. I just love anytime they say that. It cracks me up every time
No,
because she says it at
she did.
least.
I
She
know.
She
says
did.
it a
She
few
finally
times
saw
and it's
herself.
great.
Yeah.
But there was another
Uh,
thing that the Fortos, what's it called? Guards ended up saying to her also. And that made me laugh. Anyway, so okay, they're back at Fortos because there's an edict for Diem because the crowns want to question her about her mom. So she goes to Fortos because technically, even though she's not invited, she's been invited.
she's been summoned.
She's been summoned. So she goes there and she tries to gain access to her mom because, as a crown, she has a right to the prisoner to ask questions and stuff. But the Fortress King says, fuck that. You're not coming in here because both of you would be dangerous together.
Wait,
Ooh, he does not like her.
before that,
Oh.
we have to talk about what they tried to do to Sorai.
Oh, when they
Oh,
tried.
yeah.
I was so mad.
Yeah.
That was difficult for me, guys. I can see a lot of things, but animals getting hurt, I don't do well with.
I
And
know. And just the fact that
Well,
they
and
lured her with her apples that Luther promised her after flying all
I
that way to save
know. And
them.
Alix has to play
Watch.
along with it or whatever. Ugh, I
That's
hate
right,
that she has
because
to
she
play
became
along.
Remus's High General per Diem's request.
Mm-hmm.
correct.
And poor Sora.
Well, and we also need to talk about her little secret project about how that's when we get revealed she did make the Godstone.
Oh
And
yeah.
they had
Mhm.
and she was the one. Thank God it was her and not fucking Vance because we had talked about that potentially being an
I
option.
know.
Yeah.
It was not Vance, thank the Lord.
But she
But
didn't
she
make a
did
lot
create
of it.
Godstone.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was right. It
Yeah,
was
I know. I
Godstone.
felt
Yeah,
I felt good about that one. I was like, we called it.
I know. But she's
But instead
trying
of making
to.
weapons, she was making shields.
Yes, I was
Yes.
great because
I
Diem
love
doesn't want to
that.
hurt people, but she wants to protect
I
her
know.
people. And so that's how they
Agreed.
came up with a compromise. And I thought that was great for Elix. But I
I know,
also
but
feel
the
bad for
whole
Elix because now she has to follow Remus's command
yeah, the whole
because
you weren't actually coronated thing was so annoying. I
I
was like,
know.
really?
Okay,
Really?
but it's only their realm that follows that. Everyone else is like, fine, like you're king, you're king. That's it.
Yeah. Well, and then Sorai, we find out that Sorai and Tybalt
I
are
I
know.
know.
either mated or something, but she's so sad, and that's why he's so
She
angry.
remembers. I know he remembers her, or she
Yeah.
remembers
That was so sad.
And that
Tybalt.
they're separated.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
What? What?
it's gonna be so good when Ignos dies because we all know he's gonna die because
Oh yeah.
obviously,
Mhm.
um, because he thinks he's gonna be able to get a cure when it's like, haha, joke's on you. That was her blood. But
And you just stabbed her,
then
and it wasn't willingly given.
I know, but and then it'll be Tybalt will be Diem's, and
I
she can
know.
reunite them.
I know. Well, yeah, because so far every one she's taken over hasn't had a Gryvern,
Yeah, which is weird.
Well,
which I was like,
except for Umbros, but
well, yeah,
she
now.
hasn't gotten access to her
Oh
yet.
yeah.
Correct. She just got that one though. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like the two before that, like, didn't have one because they'd already died. And
Yep.
so I'm picturing her with a whole army of Gryverns and I'm here for it.
Mhm.
Wait. Did you guys know that she was gonna be the heir? That Diem
No,
was gonna be Umbros' heir?
I thought she
Oh,
was until Ambrose kept saying, "You're gonna not like my
She's gonna be
heir."
your greatest, like,
I thought she said
adversary.
he. I
yes.
swore she said he.
No, she said,
Yes.
"My heir will be." I don't think she
Yeah.
ever, like,
I
pronouns
know, but I
them.
think I always thought dude also
In
for
my
some
mind, I
reason.
went guy for some
Oh.
reason, probably just because it's the guy leaders in here that are assholes. But she, I really thought that she would be her heir until she kept saying that. And I was like, oh, well, it's going to be someone against her. Okay.
Yeah, she said that this
It's
person, my heir will be the oh, shoot.
greatest adversary is what I thought she
Yeah, something
said.
like that,
Yes,
like, your
she
greatest
did.
challenge should be, like, the hardest one to overcome for
Well,
you,
she
which
is her
Well,
own biggest.
yeah, but
100%.
yes, you're right, because she made it sound like it was a different person and not her.
But now it makes more sense why she got the key, why the
Yeah.
Wyvern was responding to her the way she was. Like, all of that makes so much more sense knowing now that she's the heir. Because
S
they, like, clearly the
I
Wyvern
know.
knew.
Well, I just thought because how Tybalt had reacted to Diem when they were in Igneos, I thought it was just like
Correct.
that, like, I just thought that they were just interacting and all the
Well,
Wyverns were
But was
curious
he
about her.
also sensing that because Igneos is about to die? Like, that's what I'm saying. Do they all just know, oh,
now
that's my
that they've
next
all
one?
been, yeah, they all, I mean, all of their deaths were imminent because,
Mhm.
and she was with them, so they can tell that, like, it's their heir. It's probably why he hates her so much and why
I
he's
was
trying to
gonna
kill
say, do
her.
you think that's
But
why
you
he wanted
guys,
to kill her so bad?
What?
Diem did not call Sorai at the end. Who called Sorai?
Was it Luther?
Luther called Sorai
He said it
because he
worked.
said, he looked at her and said, it worked because he's the heir and she's dying. She's gonna die.
I was gonna say, she must die then and come back.
Oh, no, because he wouldn't have left her then. If he knew she was gonna die, he would not have left her.
No, because then he would have died. He needed to be able to get back. Like,
What?
no,
He didn't know she
I
was
think
gonna
he knows
die.
more.
That's what I'm saying. Why did he think that she could call him?
I don't know. Or he thought,
Or he
because
could call
I
her?
feel like maybe they accidentally got mated during their rendezvous. Because they kept talking about, like,
Well, because he
their
he
magic
used
coming
word.
together, and then he gets all weird and gets all stiff and, like, looks at his hand, and I'm like, "Did you see a mating mark on your hand?" Right before she leaves,
Oh yeah, he did get real weird right
she
before she
zoned
left.
out when she said, like, "I wanna give you everything. I want us to move and build a house together. I wanna have a family with you." She's saying all this to him, and then he, like, goes stiff and then, like, slack jawed, and she just thinks he's like, "Oh, yeah, I love
That's
you
what
that
I
much
thought.
too."
I was just like, "Oh, he's, like,
But
dumbfounded
No,
because."
it seemed
as
like
she's
something more was happening
I read
there,
it, like,
but
4 times because I was like, "What is happening? What did I miss?" And then she's taking off with Sophos, and he looks down at his palm.
I thought because she was
yeah,
just
he
holding his
does.
hand right there. You guys, I literally wrote the damn notes to this thing, and I'm still oblivious. I'm like, "Oh, it's so lovely."
No,
I mean,
well,
it just felt like a really weird interaction to me, so that's why I
yes,
reread
agreed.
it so many times, because I was like, I feel like something really significant just happened, and I can't put my thumb on what it was. But
Yeah,
Well, and
then
it did
when he
happen.
called Sorai,
yeah.
I
Do they share
feel,
magic?
I don't know that they share magic, but maybe, I
Unless
mean,
she gifted him something when she healed him and we just didn't realize it yet.
yeah, or I mean, what are any of the other crowns mated? I don't think they are, so we don't really know what a mate's
Hmm.
I was gonna
experience is
say,
with a
I
crown.
mean, Ulcer was, but it was so brief.
It was before he was even coronated, right? Wasn't it? Or was it right
It was
after
it
his
was a month
coronation?
after, I wanna say, if I
So,
recall correctly, but, I mean, that's still, I mean, quick. I don't know that they would've figured all of that out yet in that
and
short of time.
Sorai recognized Diem as heir before Diem was even knowing she was a descendant, because she acted interesting around her for those months before she let up. She, like, would follow her, she focused on her a lot,
But
and
she
she
didn't, like,
does.
follow orders from her yet.
No, she didn't. But I think it could be a mix of both, recognizing him as an heir and then maybe recognizing him as her mate. I don't know. I
Or because just like DM said, she sensed that her life was in danger, and so she fought tooth and nail to escape from Remus's prison that they held for her, and that's what Luther thought. He's like, "It worked." Like, she knew that DM was in danger, and so she escaped because that's just what her innate, like, the thing inside of her tells her to do.
I don't know. The way
I was
he
gonna say
said
there
it
was so
was,
much weird around it,
he
yeah.
just says it like it secretly, like like he's holding something back, and like he'll tell her later, kind of thing.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
curious
It
to find
almost felt
out,
like
you
there was
guys.
I
something
know.
more. Well, and I mean, he had already used the phrasing pretty much at some point in time. I can't remember when in this book. but, like, how they would do the mate thing. Like, he'd already pretty much said all of those lines
He
word for
said the
word, so
words
Yes.
exactly.
They
The
correct.
exact
So
words.
He said it
I
was
just wonder
close. He
if
said
it
it
was,
was very similar to, because I
but
wrote
that's
it
what I'm
down.
saying, maybe it was enough that when she's, like, saying she wants these things, that it was enough to
But
Because she
usually you
did.
have to mix blood, but I guess they already had mixed blood. Maybe you can mix blood at any point, and then once you say the words to each other, it can deem it because when their godhood I was gonna say godheads again. When their godhood like unleashed when they finally came together,
Came
she
together.
she acknowledges it as she's like finally giving in to them, not just the two of them, but to their godhoods coming together and being together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that felt significant to me also.
See, in here, I just thought it
Yeah.
was a great orgasm.
Could have been.
You know, like,
Ah.
They had a great time in that
mind
library.
shattering. Well,
Yes, they did have a great time in that library. We will
because it
def
finally fucking happened. Jesus, it was a slow burn. All the
Oh,
other
this was
times,
the slowest of
oh
burns,
my
but,
gosh.
like, not only just a slow burn, with, like, the worst teasing. Like, I thought it
I
was gonna
know.
happen 5 times before it actually
I
did.
Uh-huh.
know.
So when it I, like, wouldn't believe it was actually happening when it finally happened, because I was like, "Nope, she's gonna blue balls us again."
And then you're like, "Oh, wait, no, this is actually we're doing it. We're doing
When they
it."
got out of that shower and he put a towel on, I was like, "The fuck?
Yeah,
What
I
can be
I
more
know.
important than this right now?"
When he
Oh, how did you guys feel about, Henry having moved on to, Lana?
Well, okay, called that.
what?
But
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact that he was cheating on Diem, I was like, "Damn, Henry."
I just don't feel like he thought it was cheating. Like, I think as soon as she was descended, there was a part of him that had checked out, and we all knew it.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. I mean,
but,
like,
like,
every
because
interaction
he
they
didn't
had, it wasn't that anymore. It wasn't about love. It was more like,
No.
how can I help the descended? Like, not the descended,
Yeah.
the guardians,
Correct.
or
How can I get power?
yeah,
Like,
I can't
I
believe
agree.
Lana was like, "He's
he's
mine and
mine.
you can't have him." And I was
You're
like,
like, good, take him.
I know we're
"Yeah."
like, "Please, please."
Well, then when he said, he's like, just do me a favor and tell Luther that you're not willing to give him everything just in case that's what he's wanting, and you won't break his heart like you broke
That
mine.
really fucked her with her mind a little bit, though,
Yeah, because it was
which
true.
yes,
She knew
except now
herself enough.
she's, like, on board
We
with a
all
couple
know.
things.
We all know. It depends on who you're with and when you're with them and
He
how
100%.
just
things in
wasn't
your
the
life
person.
can change. Like, your decisions and what you
Correct.
want for yourself can change a whole bunch. And
Well, and
so,
Mhm.
until you're with the right person, every person before that, regardless of how much you may even love them, is not the right person. And it's
mhm,
not going
Agreed.
to feel as that they're the right person until they are. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
of course she felt that before because he wasn't no one else was ever right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of
Luther
not
is.
being right, Zolaric's dad,
Jean. Jean.
Poor
Sean Hannafir.
fucking
Why
we
is
called it
that
was gonna
his
be in that little
dad? Ugh.
yeah.
Oh, I even just got like chills, like icky
Yeah.
chills. Ugh.
Well, and then he
Well,
like
especially
threatened
the
to
way
I
he
kill
can't
talked
him.
about it.
if they don't show that showdown, I'm gonna be
I know.
pissed because I want
No,
to see him whoop his
they're
daddy's
gonna have
ass.
to. I feel like Zolaric's so much more powerful than John,
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
right? Like, he just
100%.
and
yeah,
I can't wait to
Um,
watch because his power rivals Luther's. It's up there with Luther's.
yeah.
They describe
yes,
it being enormous.
agreed.
I
Um,
can't wait to see him beat his ass.
I need Penn Cole to be on board with murdering some people this next book
Yeah.
because if we try to save them all, it's gonna make me a little disappointed. And I just need some of these battles to happen and actually like I need Vance to die. I
Oh,
just
he
can't.
will. Someone else is gonna do it, but it's not gonna be Diem because
It doesn't have to be Diem. I understand we have this altruistic ideology we
Yeah.
can't let go of. I need other people to fuck some people up because I need them to die because they suck and I hate them.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah. A
just
Oh,
little
how
bit of
much
murder would be good.
well,
agreed.
even when
Yep.
she went to Fortos and all those guards tried to, like, take her down and stuff like that, just the amount of power she was using to trying not to hurt them when she already had used most of her power
I know.
for the whole, like, escape of her mom and the healing
And
of prisoners, and Kayla's got a lot
Oh,
of
guys,
feelings about it.
we really do have to talk about this whole prison thing because that was intense. The whole thing.
The whole thing. I was like I really felt like my body felt like I was like, "Oh, no, what's gonna happen next?" Kinda.
if she did not murder him, I was gonna I don't know what I was gonna do.
You're
I
gonna
don't
get
know.
into the book and murder him yourself. I feel
Oh
that.
my gosh, yes! I'm not even kidding. I probably would have had, like
I know, but
nope,
she
not
didn't
gonna say
murder
that.
him
That
for
sounds really
her.
weird.
She murdered him because he was gonna attack Luther. So she's never gonna kill someone for herself.
Luther, I thought, was gone. No, I'm not talking about the king. The king I don't even fucking care about. I'm talking about his commander. She
Oh
had
my
murdered
god, the
him.
commander! Yeah.
I was gonna reach through the book and murder
Oh
him
my
myself
that was
because
epic though, you
he
guys.
was horrible, and she was
Yeah,
still like, "I can't kill him," and then he's freaking murdering all these mortals, and that's
yeah.
still not enough for you?
Nope.
That's still not
One
enough?
every
You coulda
second,
saved
I
all of
know.
them.
I know, and then they were still attacking her because they didn't wanna die, and then they ended up dying anyway, but she was, like, waning in her power, and she was like, "If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna take at least one of these motherfuckers with me," and she did. She took one of them.
About time.
I mean, finally, and also, if she doesn't get that the other Fortos commander, the one that
Yeah,
she
the one that
attacks
was in
in
Lumnos.
Mortal City and that
Uh-huh.
keeps, like, following her and got them to Montios. That's another one that's got one coming. If she doesn't murder him, I'm gonna freak out because
Yeah.
he's
I was gonna
asking for
say,
it.
I really have quite the kill list at this
I got a big
point.
kill list. I have a large kill list. Also, when he went over after Sorai again, she
Mhm.
is abusing her Sorai powers, and
Yeah,
it's upsetting me because I really thought that she was gonna get her killed by trying to get back to tell her with her mom, and I was like,
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
if you make her go back again when you blatantly know
Mhm.
you will all die doing that, I might be done.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
Because
just got stabbed with a giant pole in her belly, and you're like,
and
"Keep
you're
going!"
forcing her against her will to go back when you keep saying Mrs. Altruistic that that's wrong.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm-mm,
the
girl. Nope.
relationship that Orly has between Diem and Luther and just, like, watching them, like, on the road back to wherever anywhere they were going, honestly, but,
Cannot.
like, I thought because Orly was trying to save all these half-descended kids, that she'd feel not so angry, but she definitely had Vance vibes to me as far as her words went.
I
Yeah,
agree.
she hated the descended. She was like,
Yeah.
"Who cares? He's a descended. Who cares? Leave them. They're a descended." I was like, "Wow." I struggled with her a lot as soon as they brought her
Yeah.
in. As
Agreed.
much as I have, like, kind of despised her from afar without really knowing her, it was almost tenfold by the time we actually met her because, yeah, her words. It was
Mhm.
horrible.
Well, do you think
Sh
it was trauma because of, Ophiuchi?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it
That's a
stemmed
part of
from
it.
that,
But n
All of it's
obviously
but
trauma.
through yeah,
She's a
because
spy. She's
yes.
worked for, like, the
But she
descended
was a
for so
spy for the
long.
Descended first. She was a s
And the Guardians, both sides. So she's
eventually, yeah,
seen a lot. So yes, this is trauma, 100%. But you've also seen what the Guardians have done
yeah.
on either side. I get she's kept them more peaceful than, like, they are now, but I don't know.
well,
She was
and
just so prejudiced from the start that
Yes!
I was like,
and
Prejudice is the word.
I was surprised by the depth of that based off what Cordelia had said. Like,
Mhm.
she made it sound like
mhm.
she was wanting to almost not work with a descendant, but, like, saw the benefit to that, and this
Mhm.
I just wasn't really getting that vibe from her
No.
after meeting her, and again, obviously, she'd been in prison for a little bit at that
And
point,
broken.
so
They broke the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
correct, so I'm sure that wasn't helping, but, like, you and Luther had worked together a lot for you to be so mad at
Yes.
him.
That's the part that
I was
confused
a
me
l
the most because of
it
how
Mhm.
was
much hate she had towards him.
mind you, so did fucking Diem for so long, so I guess, like, maybe they just have a weird thing against fucking Luther that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was a lot to read, and then what also killed me is she felt so strongly towards Ascended, but then the way she talked about how, like, her daughter could go to the
Oh,
Guardians and all
yeah.
of this stuff, I was like, "Bitch, what are you not getting about
Like,
this?"
they
They
sliced
hold
her up.
Yeah, they hold way more prejudice than even you hold
And she
against
forgave
Ascended.
them. She's like, "Oh, no, they'll say they'll take you now because 'cause you're my daughter." They're like, "No, they
And she's like
won't."
They
she's
knew
like,
that she was
"Yes."
her daughter then, and it didn't
Mhm,
make any
Correct.
difference. They still treated her
mhm,
the way that they treated her. She
mhm.
was so ignorant, but then in the same time, she would flip around and be like, "She's a queen. Call her your majesty. Like you have hold nothing to her, blah blah blah." And she'd
I
get all
could
high and
not.
mighty, but then she'd be
Mhm,
like, "But you're just my little Diem. Come here,
mhm.
You
sweetheart."
know
Like treating
you
her like
know
a
it
child.
it reminded me a lot of Henry.
Mhm.
Of who?
Oh my god, and then when she started talking about Henry and she got all
Oh,
excited, I was
Henry.
like,
Oh,
"Blah!"
she got so excited when she heard Henry's name, like, "Oh, you guys a thing?"
But that's
"You
what I'm
talked to
saying.
Henry?"
They are very similar in
Blech.
so many ways, and the
Heebie-jeebies.
feelings I have towards them are kinda similar. I don't quite I don't know, I still don't love her mom. Henry's just a different level, I just hate him, but, like,
Yeah, it's
her
so
mom was
weird.
not doing a lot for me until
No.
she was, like, finally kinda somewhat starting to come around towards the end, but
Yeah. When Luther
damn, you
finally
took a
told her,
long ass
explained to
time.
her why he loves Diem. Oh my god, when she caught
Yes.
them, she was gonna
I
murder
was
him.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't
What?
You're not even
I think any mom would probably have that reaction a little bit. It was, like, way more intense because of who he
Yes.
was and she was, but I was like, "Oh my god, if I caught my daughter like that with someone, I would freak out." I think I'd freak out, even if they're I don't know.
I
It'd
would
just be
freak out, but I'd probably be like, "Oh my god," like, I'd close
free
the
yeah, I
Walk
door.
wouldn't be like,
away,
"I'm gonna
not
murder you," but,
Yeah.
like, if
yeah.
it's someone I didn't like, I might be like, "I'm gonna murder you,"
Yeah,
but
true. True.
yeah, that
That
whole
was
thing.
so
Once
funny.
again, blue balls because they were so close.
I know, I
They were
literally
very
wrote
close
here, I
to
was
the
like,
end.
"Arlie's being a cock block. Get out of here."
The whole time, which was so funny that, like, she was pretty much cock blocking them left and right, but then still seemed naive to the fact they had any sort of relations.
Yeah.
I was like, "Bitch, what do you mean?
Yeah,
Are you
No, but
that
it's because
unaware?"
he's using her to get back
Oh,
at
true.
her.
that
True,
whole
true,
part,
true.
I was like, "Come
I know,
on."
like, I thought, like, when she had that revelation come up in her face, I was like, "Oh, she's getting it." And then when she started
Yeah.
talking, I'm like, "Good, oh my
Okay,
gosh."
but I was
I know.
holding my breath that entire time because I was like, "I swear to God, if DM flips on him right now
I know.
and believes her, I once again, I'd be
Oh, yeah.
done. I'd be
I
done."
know because it almost kinda seemed like she was trying to almost allude to that for like, to the audience, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. For the love of God.
Mhm.
Like,
We have done
no.
this too many times, I
Mhm.
swear."
Yeah.
But that was thankfully not the case.
I thought that DM would have eventually have all the crowns, but I guess it didn't really cross my mind that, like, all of the crowns would have to die for that to happen. I don't know why that wasn't, like, blatant in my head. I don't know if I thought that somehow she just absorbed them or what, but when she got the crown from Fortos, I freaked out. I think I texted you V right after. I texted V after Fortos. I texted Bree after Montios.
Mhm.
I was like, Kyle literally looked at me and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Shit's
No!
going I was like freaking out. It was so good. So
It
good.
was. Every time, like, I would try to, like, catch these parts, and I'm like, "I can't reenact my emotion as I finished reading it because I don't wanna have a camera in my face recording my reactions all the time, but every single time something happened, like, the jaw drop I would have, or, like, y I just feel like you could see my
Yeah.
mind being blown at that moment every time I
Well,
Yeah.
and her getting the Fortos one was so good
So
Mhm.
good.
because it had never been a woman before and because the
Yes!
Fortos king was a fucking dick.
Yeah, he was the
Um,
worst.
so honestly, her getting that one did a lot for my soul. I was like,
Super satisfying.
"Yes."
Mhm.
So,
Very
you know
satisfying.
how Umbros was like, "Yeah, we know who's gonna be our heir." We know months to, like, days before, we could know.
Mhm.
So, I'm curious if the heir before she had arrived there was supposed to be someone else. Because how did he not
No, he
know?
literally looks at her and says, "You," and he's
Seconds.
like, "It can't be." And then it goes into them fighting again. It gets kind of overlooked, but he does look at her, have recognition.
Yeah,
Because I highlighted that because I was like, "Is he knowing noticing?" Because then he starts backtracking and trying to get out of their fight because he knows he's gonna die soon, and they're
yeah.
currently in a fight. So then he's, like, kind of backtracking, and we obviously know how that all played out, but
Ha ha
Stab
ha.
in the femoral artery, die.
yeah, homeboy could not live. Hims needed to die.
Yeah,
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, he was
just a little bit.
Well, and I do love that she literally released everyone in this prison. She said, I
No, except for the ones that they didn't trust.
correct.
Yeah.
well,
Agreed, which I did love that.
I'm glad that she was finally using her powers. 'Cause I'm like, "Stop. Sorry, but, like,
She still
yes,
tries to hide it, but she just used
it's
it
an
back, yeah.
invasion, but, like, if you have the
Use
power
them.
to look in and see if people are truly evil, start using it."
Mhm. Especially
Yeah,
for that, especially if you're trying to, like, see the good in people. See the good in people with that, and then you'll know for sure, and then everyone else,
Correct.
yeah, why didn't we do that to Vance? Or why
She
didn't we
did,
mind
but
mess him
it
up
she
and then
said it's
him
only gonna last for a few days, and
no, but
hopefully he changes his mind by then.
no, she could have just mind
Ma'am!
scrambled him, and then he would have been
Yeah.
alive, and then, poor quality of life maybe, but he would have been alive and not dead. So
poor quality of life, maybe. I'm dead. They
True.
said it's better to be dead than to be, like, completely mind
but he won't
obliterated. I
Yeah.
know.
thought
He wouldn't know.
She would know. That's
I was
worse
gonna
for
say,
her.
she couldn't live with that guilt. It probably would be better to kill him at that
Mm,
point.
well, and that I don't know. He just needs to go. Vance just needs to go.
He needs to go. He is top of my kill list over
Agreed.
Ophiuchi. He's actually higher on my list than him. It kind of
Yeah.
goes Vance, other Fortos commander, and then Ophiuchi is like, he's doing this because I'm like, where you at? Where are you gonna land? Like, where are you gonna land in the big bad zone? You're probably gonna land way up here, but
This is feeling very Game of Thrones when Arya has her list of people she
Oh,
repeats.
yeah. Mhm.
We're gonna have a list, guys.
We're
We're gonna
gonna
have a whole list,
we'll
and we're
post
gonna be
that.
naming them off
yep.
again and again until they're dead.
And
I
then
just
we're on our next podcast, we're gonna go check,
No, really,
dead,
what we should do
check,
is, like,
dead.
make, one of those reels where, like, you have to, like, hold the screen down and it freezes, and then you're like, "This is your kill list," and then it, like, stops at
Oh,
whoever's at the top kinda thing, or who like, the
we have to
order.
put Henry on that one.
Yeah.
I just Penn Cole needs to answer
We need to
for
Why
know.
her love of
why.
Henry is there.
Yes,
I
because
need
she
this
even
interview. Maybe you can ask her.
I
I
know, maybe she'll
know.
do an interview with us because I just have so many
Do you
questions.
think she would tell us though, or is it gonna be revealed in the next book?
Yes!
Like,
Oh,
do we think he's going to have a redemption arc still, and it's gonna be in this next book?
I
Or,
just
like, did she base him off someone she loves? Like, I just feel like there's more to it
I mean, there's
than
gotta
we
be,
know.
but she has not set him up for a redemption arc at all yet. And with it being 3 books in and he has not been set up for that, I would find it very unbelievable if he all of a sudden clicked and had a change of heart. Because his resentment is very deep-seated at
Yep.
this point.
Mhm.
He
Unless can he okay, this would redeem him for me if
Oof.
he kills Vance because he finds out Vance is murdering children and that finally turns Henry because that was part of what started his whole vengeful cycle in the first place. And mind you, it was a mortal child.
But
But
he has said many times that he would be fine with him killing more descended
I know.
children, like with bombs and stuff like that. She said there are descended children in that ballroom, and he was like, "So they kill our children all the time."
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
no problem poisoning that girl because they kill our children
Ooh.
all the time.
Maybe maybe little Lana is gonna change him.
Well, Lana was not happy with him for him being aware of
I
the things
agree,
that were
which is
going down
why
on the screen.
maybe love will redeem him. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying. I don't. Again, I'm not looking for a redemption arc for him. Truly, fuck Henry. But there's got to be a reason. She loves him, and I'm
Yeah.
just trying to make sense of it.
I have no idea. Penn Cole, if you ever watch this, please tell
Let
me
us know
why.
you love
We
Why
need
do you
to
love Henry?
know.
Or is it like satirical? Like you don't actually love him? You're just being
Oh, and
funny?
this is like a
Or
oh.
Maybe?
maybe she just loves him
Please?
because a lot of other people hate him. You know, like she likes
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
like
she's just
you.
yeah,
pissed.
but
She's
I don't
messing
like
with
him.
him.
I don't actually like him. He's one of
No,
the
I
ones.
know, but you try to find all of the good qualities in the horrible characters, and maybe she's right there with you.
Who is Veronica in this book? Diem.
Honestly, though,
I could be all
looks for the
powerful.
good in
Okay.
all of them.
I can I can have some wild library sex. That's fine. Dominate me.
Honestly, that was yeah. I think
I
we'd
felt
all be
it.
into all of that happened because
Yeah,
in a
no.
library like that, in the forbidden section of the library,
Although
with
I don't know,
tea and food and wine, yes,
but
all of
like
it.
I was right there with them, where I was like, "Don't hurt the books." Like I
Yeah,
really struggled with that
it's
just
one
a little
thing.
bit.
It's one
Don't
thing to
bend the
get bent
corners.
over. It's one thing to get bent over some books, but to have it spread out with your food, come on, have some class.
Or your juices. You
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah, I
your
was gonna say
Oh,
oh my god.
some people make
Oh my god.
messes. And to have that on books, it's not magical juices. That stuff doesn't disappear.
Magical juices, stop it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, oh my
Oh,
god. We
sorry,
gotta
sorry.
return
Not
to
juices. It's essence. My bad.
Blech. Not any better. Not any better. Oh, we gotta move on. That's terrible. No, thank you. Ugh.
um so anyways, so I what did you guys think about when Diem confronted Orly about why she lied to her the entire time and when she asked about like her dad?
what did she say again?
She just basically said, I just wanted a normal life for you and your dad is definitely dead no matter what like anyone says. Um
She really believed that,
and
man.
she just tried to drug her because she came into her magic started coming in when she was 10. And so
Mhm.
that's when the flame root
It
came
was a long
into
time to drug her.
play. And she's like, you drugged me. Like you kept this from me when I could, you hid me away. And Diem was very
When
upset
she
by
could have
all of
been so
this.
much more prepared for
Yeah.
Yeah. And she
for
gets
things
that
if she
feeling whenever
hadn't.
she's inadequate in her magic or her training. She's like, I would have had years to train, but
Mhm.
you kept this from me.
Hmm. I'm proud of Diem for not going into her mom's head and finding out all the things that really happened.
Man, can I just say how tempting that would have been?
Yeah.
I'm proud of her for sticking up to her the way that she did and
Yes.
not because she folds over the people that she loves really easily
Hmm.
and, like, once again sees the good in them, which, like, there are times where that is
Mhm.
a
Beautiful.
great attribute. Her forgiveness is, I mean, she's very easily forgiving to the people that she really, really loves. But she actually stuck up to her and, like, stuck to her guns and was like, "No, what you did was wrong, and you
Hmm.
need to finally own up to it." And I really didn't know that she would have the galls to do that with her
Mhm.
because she kind of was like cowering from things with her leading up to that. Whatever her mom said, she kind of cowed to. If she was near Luther and her mom saw, she'd pull away from him real quick. Like she really was being really, really like timid with her.
Mhm.
So I was glad
Mhm.
that she finally was like, fed up, I'm done. You're gonna answer for all the things that you need to answer for.
Mhm.
I mean, they are very similar human beings. It was really it killed me when Luther made the comment that,
Yeah.
"What I love in you is really infuriating in your mother," and I was like,
And he
I was
was
like,
like
"Ooh."
hauling her back. I don't know
which
why
I could not.
I was picturing him with her like under his arm like that,
Yes,
like just like sack of potatoes hauling her back.
100%, I was also picturing it similar to that, but I couldn't get over her trying to freaking run away so many times. I was
All the
like,
time.
"Woman, fucking stop it for a second."
She's like, "Duh."
Jesus.
I know.
It was really
Well,
annoying
except for
me.
the one time when they were locked in that Godstone room in Fortos that's supposed to like
Yeah.
block all the magic, and she's like, "Don't go out there to save Luther. He's not worth it. Like, just stay in here with me." But Diem used her power. She's like, "Get out of my fucking way," and
Yeah.
then she like
She
balanced
used her
the
power on her.
Godstone. I don't know. She like
Yeah,
made it
balance is
I
a
know.
weird
thing.
because it wasn't like her
She
regular
uses
kindred
balance many
But
times.
it's a different
magic than her
power
kindred.
that she's using in there.
Yes, because it's
Correct.
not her descended magic; it's her other
Mm-mm.
magic.
It's her
Mhm.
kindred magic. I think
Yeah.
it's her primal magic. Like it
Yeah, I
really
agree.
does remind me of Blood and Ash, where there is primal
Yeah.
gods, and then there are descended that are of that, but just not as
Mhm.
potent, not as potent. Um, so
I
I
wonder
feel
if
like,
it's the old god still having a play in
I
well,
because
know.
Luther.
that's what I was going to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that the picture of the human or whatever they are in the old god that they have with the flame root, or not the flame root,
Everflame.
the Everflame, sorry, has hair that matches Orly's exactly?
The red hair, yeah. I
Mhm.
noticed it, but I didn't know. I
See,
feel
I
like it'd be
think she's
so
a
far down
descendant of,
that
like, one of the
Both. I think
yes,
she's going to
agreed.
be of both.
Yeah.
ooh, she thinks she's
Mhm.
gonna be the heir of the Everflame. But where's
Essentially, like, or have power from that, which is gonna be
She
mm,
how
is the
she
Everflame.
manages.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Like, or
embodied.
carrying the
Oh
Everflame or
my
whatever that is. Yeah, I agree. Because
gosh.
yes, they make many
Mhm.
references to her mother's hair being identical, and I was like, they've pointed out her hair since the beginning.
Oh, from the
Well,
beginning.
yeah.
From
Like,
the
how it
very beginning,
stands out.
so
Mhm.
Fiery red hair.
correct, and, like,
Fiery
how
red hair.
she would know it from anywhere and blah, blah, like, 100%
Well,
that
and that's just a
is
weird thing to point out on a painting of something over and over again. Like
Yeah.
you'd be like, there's a guy and this tree and explain the tree, not the fiery red hair. And his
uh-huh,
face is always hidden. So if they have similar features, she
uh-huh.
can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree, I think she's of both.
Um the fight that Diem had with Fortos, there's just one part that made me just kind of giggle when like because of her like in her inner dialogue she was like it
Mhm,
seemed all five of his brain cells had been devoted to the art of the fight, and then when he asked her like why she felt she could defeat him and what did she have that he didn't, and she's like, well, my knuckles don't drag when I walk, the ability to breathe through my nose and a neck because he's so like massive. And I just
Mhm.
was cracking up. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, you funny.
Yeah.
But she's
yeah,
always
some of
been
her
so
pop-off
sharp with her
remarks
words
are
whenever she's being
Yeah.
challenged with this stuff. But I love that it was aimed towards someone else other than Luther.
I know,
I know.
about fucking time.
Felt
She has
Um,
eased up on that significantly.
well, because she finally was like, "Oh, wait, I love him."
Yes.
oh yeah.
Fucking about time.
Well, and then he doesn't
He's
have
perfect.
his sword
Hello.
anymore. He doesn't have his bejeweled sword, so she doesn't have like the thing that she used to tease him about
She really
all
likes
the
his
time.
sword.
I know,
Which
I love
one? The
the
bejeweled one?
I
It
mean, both of them.
They
I
might
think
be
she likes
both
both of
bejeweled.
them.
I
Stop it.
don't think this
I
is
could not picture that. I could not picture that at
Oh,
all. Stop.
remember? Okay, in Zodiac
You guys haven't read
Academy
Zodiac Academy.
that's what I'm just saying, the
Bitch,
Zodiac
yes,
Academy.
I have.
What do they call it? A
Oh my
bejazzled oh, no. Something.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but
that's
Xavier does it to his entire penis.
Yeah.
do they do it just to a part of it instead?
He pierces
Oh,
Yeah.
the
yeah, that's
whole
right. You're
thing
right.
with
Ugh.
jewels.
God, ow.
No, thank you.
I don't I don't know that I'd love any part of that, honestly. That doesn't sound
Well, yeah,
I
because
don't
it's the
know.
whole entire thing. So I'm like, that sounds painful. But
I
whatever,
agree.
to each their own.
T
Mhm.
Correct, agreed. But yeah, so Father Fortos,
Oh,
he
yeah.
Yeah.
says, "Remember my sister's words, beware my brother's wrath,"
Yes, and that's the
is
Mhm.
how
same
he
thing. Mhm. 'Cause
uh-huh,
Montio said the same thing.
mhm,
Beware my brother's wrath.
Yeah. I'm
Well, and now we know
mm,
why her
her
crown looked different. Because
that
that whole
yes.
entire
Yes!
time,
I know! I did not know that.
she was another
Mhm.
crown. I would not have guessed that.
No. It's so sad
No,
that
I
he
love
died
that.
there at
Mhm.
the, for initial attack.
Well,
Uh-huh,
yeah, and it like, her going back and remembering the pounding in her head and all of that, like, of
Yeah.
course, a bomb just went off. You wouldn't think.
Well, no, because she
yeah,
felt weird anyway, right? She was already feeling like a weird sensation initially. Remember, she was very uncomfortable before
Yeah.
she even got to her turn to do the
yeah,
bloodletting onto the stone or whatever.
But I feel like now we know that's because she's actually Omnos. She's was supposed to be of Omnos, and it was that was banished from that Kindred temple was banished. So it was seeing something that was not supposed to be there was
which
coming
is why
forward. And it was trying to push her out of the temple because they had banished him. They had banished his whole monolith had been taken down and everything. So
No,
I
but
feel
they
like
didn't know
that's
he
what
had
was
a
pushing it out.
child. They didn't know he had a kid. They thought that he
No, but
didn't.
I think the temple was aware of it. It was like
Oh,
because it was
It
like
was
the
the
temple trying to push
forging
her out.
magic because they essentially erased his and
Mhm,
absorbed it into Montios.
I see. So you think when they were trying to coronate her, because it wasn't forging day, they were just trying to coronate her to reinforce the
correct.
forging magic. And as they were doing it, they recognized a different kind of magic in it that was not supposed to be there, and that's why she felt all that pressure? Or do you think she felt all that pressure in her head because Montios was already dying, and then it just
No, I
happened to
think it was
He
happen at the
from
died
the
same
from the
heart.
time?
I
blast.
think it was from the Heartstone. I think the Heartstone
Oh.
was trying to push her away because, I
But
mean, it was gonna break when
or it was protecting itself because it was feeling that the thing because I think that they use magic obviously to make a Fiokai stuck there, and it was
Mhm.
probably a part of a forging spell, like they did when they changed it at the end of this book. So maybe it was sensing that it was gonna be broken, and his spell was gonna be broken, and it was trying to protect itself. So that could have been a part of it
Mm.
also. It was
Hmm.
sensing her blood, and that was the only thing that could
it is
break the
so
spell.
interesting though that Umbros was okay with that breaking. Like now knowing that she was aware and aware of what I think it was protecting, like I'm
Well,
intrigued that she was so like,
I
let's go,
think
let it happen.
I think that's because she finally recognized that there was someone that was going to be able to take him down and that he was going to be a problem no matter what as long as he was living there.
I mean,
Eventually, there could have been
yeah,
a thing that got him out. If the forging magic broke or anything broke, then he could get out and there wouldn't be anyone to stop him. She said that
true.
had she given her all the information,
Yeah,
then it would have been a surefire win. For
yeah,
whatever
but she didn't.
reason,
Mhm.
it would have been like 100% successful. Is kind of how she made it seem. And because Diem chose to fight against it and leave because she wasn't doing it in a nice way, she was doing it in a very hostile way. So Diem fought back against that, of course.
Mhm.
Then it put into play this other line of things happening that is not good So I think
Yeah.
that's why she was kind of blaming herself too. Like, had I not gone about it the way that I did, that was really frustrating for me. I was like, just tell
Agreed.
her. Just
I
tell
know,
her.
it was the dragging it out that was very annoying
Yeah,
Yeah.
from
especially when you
Ambrose. I'm
knew
like,
that he was coming and that it was gonna like he was gonna essentially eradicate your centenaries. Like,
well, and, like, you knew you were gonna die, like, and that she was gonna be your heir, but let's drag this out for as long as humanly
Well,
possible. Like, I
no,
don't
but she was saying that that mother, father, whatever, the not four toes,
Father Ambrose.
Father
Ambrose.
Ambrose had spoken to her and was telling her all these things, and that basically Diem had to make a choice, and depending on what that choice was, would help with her people would be alive or they would die. And so she said that I was trying to prolong not telling you because I was trying to force you to stay so then my people would definitely stay alive, right?
Okay.
Because she didn't wanna make
I
it her
didn't read it
choice.
that
She
way.
was trying to make it so that basically she didn't have a choice if she was already there.
Yeah.
So that's why she was trying to like,
But
"I'll tell
she
you
knew that
tomorrow."
I swear she knew that attack was coming though.
She
She
did,
knew
I was
that's
gonna
why.
something was
say,
happening.
yeah,
Yes, she knew that an attack was
and
coming,
that
but
makes
she
more
was trying to
sense.
keep her there for because the attack happened the day after they left.
Yeah. The
And
day that she
so
would have still been there had
yes, and then
correct.
because she was trying to keep her there, she
True.
was trying to keep her there for the attack without Diem having made a decision because Diem would have had to make the choice of either saving Luther or saving an entire kingdom. And she's like,
Mhm.
I already know who, I mean, I think I know who you would save. But that's why they were playing that game too. Like, who would you pick if this was happening? Who would you try to save? And she was like,
It was almost like a test leading up to it.
yes. And
Yeah,
so
which she would have chosen Luther,
she
I
wouldn't have
think.
to have gone home if she just realized her blood was the one to save him, and then
Well, we eventually realize later, we get there,
I know, but then
slowly
a
but
whole
surely.
race of descended could have been fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
the Sophos magic is pretty badass.
ooh,
Oh,
I'm
the electricity?
into that.
No,
Well,
the
no, the
memory.
knowledge, the memory
Oh,
thing
Being able to
is
yeah.
look
so
at
impressive.
something and remember it forever, and then going back into your
Oh,
previous memories and
Yeah.
being able to see it perfectly.
Ooh, speaking of previous memories, the dagger that Doriel had that was very similar to the
I
dagger
have so
that
many
was
questions about this.
that was in her father's chest when Diem found Andre dead, and she's like, "Where did you get that? Where I know you weren't there, so were you in Luminous recently?" And then she sensed that she wasn't or they weren't lying. And then she's like, "That's right. The Bennett family held your representatives. They were your guests. So did they kill him?"
I still that makes a lot of sense, but I still think that it was probably Remus because it was a gift from Ulthar. So it's probably a family heirloom, and it was
yeah.
probably still either Gareth or Remus. But the way that Remus is going, I just feel like it's probably
Remus is
Remus.
a not
Remus is
nice
turning out to
person.
Gareth
be worse
sucks
than Gareth, which
ass
I kind of
also.
feel like I knew was going to happen because let's be real, the snakes that are hiding in the grass are a lot worse than the ones that you actually
Obvious in
see
your
wanting to
face.
bite you the entire time.
But do
Because
you
Gareth
think
has been steadfast in his hate, and Remus is,
I'm gonna pull a DM here. Hold on.
oh god.
Do you
Oh my god.
do you think that everything that Remus is doing is really to help? Never mind. I'm not gonna open
No.
that can of
I
worms.
I'm
we're
gonna
just gonna
stop you
say no
right
to whatever it
there,
is.
and I'm gonna
Oh,
say
no.
no.
Fine. Fine.
She knows she can't even redeem him. She's like, "Wait,
No.
nah,
No,
I
he's
shouldn't
really just
even."
a terrible, awful person, and I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
I was just
All these again, another dick dad for you. He's
oh,
always
jeez,
gotta be a
right?
shitty ass dad in these books.
I
Can't.
know.
Ugh,
Daddy issues left and right, man.
I know. I
always.
know. Let's see here. After they get the prisoners from
Mhm.
Fortos over to Lumnos and they're like, "You free here, you can stay here, do whatever you want. We welcome you." Um so they decide to go to Arboros. I'm sorry, not Arboros, Montios. Um to Does she just need to touch the land? She just needs to touch the land, right? On this one? Oh no, she's already
No,
been
she had
there.
already been there. Um,
He wants to go to Montios because he has a hunch, and his hunch is that
correct.
she already has the crown. He doesn't tell her that, but he
Correct.
says, "I have a hunch we're going to Montios."
Why do
And
you is
so
it because her crown is different? That was his hunch?
yes, and he's seeing all of her mixed magic, and he probably I mean, it's maybe he's more familiar with the other crown, so he
I was gonna
knows.
say, because he just says he has a hunch that the king doesn't wanna hurt her, is all he
Oh,
says.
that's true. That is what he said.
So I
Hmm.
just feel like he knew that that would be the only realm that she would potentially be safe in.
Mhm. But after the
And
fight
they're peaceful people too. They're
they
not
are. They
into
don't like weapons. Yeah.
Yep.
Correct. Well, and the Guardian camp is there too for Orly, right?
Well, I don't think they're there for her. I think there's
No, no,
one
no, but,
there,
like,
yeah, for her
to
to go
They're
drop
to.
her off or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
But she depleted her magic when they were doing that fight and that little last bit to kill that one Fortos commander or whatever. And I thought it was funny when she was like, "Well, how long do you think it'll take to replenish me?" Because and he said, "The stronger, the longer." And I was like, "You're dirty."
Well, but I was intrigued to see how long he said. I was like, "Oh shit, that's a long
I
time for that
know.
to come back, girl.
It
I
You
is.
gotta be careful."
She was
Got like
going
a week,
around
basically.
looking for a fight just to provoke people to attack
Yeah.
her, I was like, "Yes, girl, finally you're using that brain of yours.
Well,
Go
and
get someone to
Also,
attack you."
when she was
can we
pretending to like,
acknowledge
"Oh, no, don't do this to me." But really she's like, "Yes, fuel me. Give me
Yes.
your power."
Yep.
but can we
Mhm.
acknowledge how many she needed to do that to even slightly replenish her?
Slightly, not even like
Well,
minuscule.
when she leaves Montiel, she has the entire all of them, every descended deplete themselves into her.
And isn't even
Nope.
close to her full
Mhm.
power.
Mhm.
That's fucking insane.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What?
Mhm.
Yeah. No, when I read that, I was like, "Oh, damn, girl."
Okay, but
Ooh.
I am so excited for her to go back to Lumnos now that when she eventually goes back there and she fucks shit up because she finally has control over her magic and all of her magics,
Are
she's
released?
gonna it's
Yeah.
gonna be wild
Fuck shit
because they're
up.
gonna come at her the way they did before and she's going to shut them down. Honestly, you know who she should give the brain to? Remus. Remus should get the brain thing.
I think what's her face should get the brain thing. The grandma from Hanover. She's not very nice
Well,
either. I don't like her. She could be on that
I mean,
list
she could
too.
be on our kill list too, yeah. I
Yeah, she
agree.
did.
I could
Her and Jean
Yeah, but
Okay.
I need her I
Zilark
need
needs to do that one.
correct. I need him to do that one.
Yes.
I
Our
need
kill
that to
list
not be
can
her.
be multi people.
Yeah, they just people
I
who
agree.
need
anyone
to
It doesn't
anyone
have
die.
to
can
be
get in
her.
on this. Anyone
Yeah,
can get on this.
we're
You know,
sharers.
Whoever wants to kill him,
we
by
just
all
need them
means,
murdered.
here's our list.
There you
This
go.
is our hit list.
So when they're finally in Montios and they find like a cave or whatever, everyone's trying to recover their magic or whatever. Everyone's taking naps. People are like between Arlie and Luther and Diem, and or Diem is like sick of listening to her mom. She basically needs some space from her. So as soon as Luther takes his little
Yeah,
nap, she like escapes. She just goes away.
Mhm.
that was so funny.
And while I guess they're flying. She's flying with Sorai, right?
She's just
Yeah,
letting Sorai kind of
Yes,
go.
I love that.
have
She's like, "Be free, do
I
whatever,
know.
have fun." She was just like, "Oh my god, this is the
Mhm.
best. I can do whatever I want, whatever makes my heart feel like so happy."
Mhm.
But while they were
Mhm.
doing all of that, that's when they really see I know that they had seen it on their way over, but they see Ramari's grave,
Ramari's grave.
and that's the lavender
That was
flamed Gryvern, the Montios
yes.
Gryvern, who the
It
flame responded to her.
I was irrationally sad when that flame went in the water. I'm not gonna lie. I really thought she was gonna be able to rejuvenate her some way that
Mhm.
using that. I still have hope that somehow she'll be able to bring them back, but
I
probably
know.
not.
I know. Well, I'm hoping that because Umbros was burning in that lavender flame, that maybe she saved a piece of it. And I don't know.
That's very optimistic of you.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm channeling my inner DM, okay?
Good idea,
Ah,
DM.
Anyways, but like the
I
gift that
can't.
she left for Rimari,
I
the
know.
little solid crystal ice rose with the little bits of magic that she had left because she still hadn't
I
recovered
know.
yet. I was like, oh my gosh, you were such a giving soul. Maybe too much,
I
but
know. Yeah, probably a little too much, but I appreciated it in this moment.
but it was then that the rest of the Montios descended clan or council or whatever you want to call them discovered that she was their new ruler because they have a king, but they just have a vote and not necessarily like a ruler.
He's the
Um,
crown, but they do have, yeah, like a senate essentially.
Democracy almost. Yeah.
yeah, so I thought that was kind of crazy that they knew that he died. They knew that he had died on Curiel, but they didn't know who their new crown was going to be. And the king had actually warned them before he left and said that this was going to happen and that she wasn't going to be who they expected her to, or them to be, or whoever the crown was going to be. So I thought that was pretty cool that he warned
Mhm.
them, but I don't know. Even though he was like old
Um,
and crotchety.
Yeah.
yeah. See, his note was even more interesting
Hmm.
Yeah.
because who are the 11 that must fall?
I don't know.
Is that like for one to rise?
I don't know.
Who are
Is
the 11?
because so far we only have a 10 pointed star, so I don't know.
Because, like, I would almost think all the kindred have to go, but that's still not enough.
Well, maybe Omnos was one, and then Ophiuchi is the 11th, or maybe she's one of them.
She has to
No,
fall
but then
also.
when to rise? I don't know who's gonna rise.
Maybe
Well, and in theory, we're thinking maybe she does die, so
that counts
maybe
as
she
3.
falls and rises.
Like a phoenix.
Yeah, I don't know. Share the gift to pay the cost. A dying star will rekindle the spark. What is forgotten is not lost. Remember my sister's words. Beware my brother's wrath. Good luck, daughter of the card. May you strive to seek virtue. I don't
I
know.
don't know either.
The 11.
Okay, but when she was in Omnos's area in the Forgotten Lands or whatever, she got that same, what do they say every time she gets a crown?
Claim me.
Given, claim me.
Mhm.
Claim me, daughter of the Forgotten. When she steps onto that land, when she's going to strike him, she gets that again and she gets a feeling. Then, like, nothing happens. Like, she doesn't feed into it. She shoots him, and then it kind of, like, whatever, it breaks
Mhm.
the moment.
Mhm.
But I thought that that was interesting because I'm like, he's got the crown.
Yeah.
Because
But they do say that. Just like every
Yeah.
time she goes into another realm and gets a crown.
hmm,
Yeah. I did not
I do
know.
not know.
How how'd you all feel though when she did go into the little I don't know what to call it, but where she goes and looks at all the people on the land? Her little spirit realm, I'll call it, where she
Oh,
can see all the
Her
people, and
forging.
she
when she goes into
yeah,
the
and she
forging
finds
magic.
her dad.
No,
That was
it
That was
intense.
super
I was
intense.
not ready for, obviously, any of that because I was just like, "Oh
It
god,"
kind
I
Yeah,
of
was
when
scared.
it kind of reminded me of Stranger Things. You know how like
yeah.
whenever Eleven
Yes.
goes into
Mhm.
that dreamlike state or whatever, and then she can like
Yep.
feel everybody, and then
Yep.
the
Yes.
big monster goes and touches her. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
I did I did not like
He said,
that
"I
at
said to come
No.
all.
find me. Don't ever do this again, or I'll kill you." And I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god!" But then he burned the 10 pointed star into her throat. I imagine that's sitting right here.
Yeah.
It's frightened.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because she covers it with a scarf at one point, so
Yeah.
I feel like it would have to be pretty
Hmm.
decently high up.
Yeah.
When Orly sees that it's him, and she's like
Duh.
sh- speechless. She was completely speechless. She didn't even. Nothing was connecting her brain to her mouth. Nothing.
Yeah, no, she was broken in that moment. But Diem fucking
Whoa!
told you.
What? What?
Godstone didn't kill him.
That's what I.
I know,
That's.
which
I
So she
know.
just got by Godstone. It didn't kill him. It's not going to kill her.
See, and that's the part that I
I
didn't
agree, and that's why I
understand.
didn't think she was gonna die.
That's the part that I didn't like, none of that part that you were saying where it felt her magic and it was trying to, like, and that's why everything was shaking and stuff. Because 'Cause he's been there the whole time through all the forging magic stuff and through all the coronations. How come it didn't do anything then?
But he wasn't in the temple. It's specifically in the circle of the temple. He never
Correct, because
went
he was
to the
always locked
Heartstone. He was
below
locked
or
in that
Oh, because she was in the
that
circle?
cave.
That's what we're
she was in the circle,
She
and
Correct.
wasn't
as she
standing in
got
her portal.
closer
Um,
she went through the portal, and as she got closer to the Heartstone, it pushed harder and harder and harder and harder on her.
Yeah,
So I think it
and
was
mm.
she talked
probably
about how
protecting itself, but also they were like, "You are not Lumnos, you're supposed to be something else." She's really supposed to be Omnos, but
But in the end, she was standing in the portal. She was standing underneath her arch thingy, and nothing was pushing her back then. Like, in her portal, she just said that she would grab onto her portal whenever, like, something would happen, and then they had to use her blood in order to make a new forging spell, to, like, reinvent the lines of the map.
yeah, but I think I mean, essentially, like, might have put Omnos back on the map. I think she has 3, but she might technically have the blood for 4 right
Mhm.
now. Because I feel like by breaking the Heartstone 1, it let him through and it broke whatever pressure that was having that it was trying to protect itself to keep
Mhm.
him stuck. That broke as soon as she put it on. So now it's just like her regular blood.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that spell is broken.
Okay,
yeah.
because of the crack, because the forging magic is broken anyway and had been so long since they had redone anything, and then all the borders are getting mixed up, so okay.
I don't
Okay.
even think it's the forging magic that, well, I mean, obviously the forging magic is broken because the Heartstone is broken, but I think specifically the spell binding him is what was pushing her away to protect the Heartstone, because I think her blood on the Heartstone was the only thing that was going to crack it and release him.
Mhm. See, why don't I remember there being a spell? I just thought they locked him up behind a room.
No,
No, he couldn't
he
leave,
was
he was locked in
shackled.
there.
That's what I'm saying, he was
Correct.
locked, but there was no spell to keep him there. He was just locked up with the Godstone.
No, he couldn't leave the island. I thought that was part of it, is he couldn't even
He
leave.
couldn't
Because
leave
the
that
whole
room.
thing, no, he was on that island the whole well, originally, but he couldn't get off the island because that whole time Orly was like, "Oh my god, he was here the whole time that I've been here."
No, but, like, even
Well,
then,
and
like,
he
when
was
sh
locked in that room, I
forever.
He was
thought.
Yeah, he
locked
was
in the
locked in the
room.
room, and so whenever she was pregnant and he, like, hurt her that one time or whatever, and she ran
She
away, he was
left.
like, "Please come back." So that makes me feel like he couldn't
There
just
was a
roam
spell.
the island.
Correct,
There's a
he could
spell
not.
keeping him in that room.
So there was a spell
Yeah.
on him to keep him in the room and the Godstone door also?
Yeah,
Well, she had opened the Godstone door,
Yes.
but, like, he couldn't get out even when that was open, so clearly he was
Mm.
well, or was it on the shackles that
I
the
thought it was
spell
the
like, I that's
shackles.
she opened up the shackles. She got him out of the shackles eventually.
Well,
yeah.
why didn't that, like, cue her into that there's something else? Like, I thought he was just so
Because
weak.
she has a little Diem in her where she thought that he was being wrongly imprisoned here because he told her that he was mortal. She didn't think he was descended at that point.
Oh,
Yeah, because
is that what he
he
told her?
looked different.
She thought he had only been down there for a short amount of time and had been feeding off of
And
Ah!
rainwater and rats.
And she thought the gray color that he had going on was because he had been locked in there, and that's why he looked a little
Oh,
gray,
I
like,
thought
she
she
was like
knew that he was descended
well,
already,
I
And
mean,
and the fact
not
that they
eventually.
mortal. Yeah.
no, no. The fact that they put a spell to keep Diem on the island, I think just proves they're doing the same spell because I think Sophos found the spell that kept
You're right. She did
him.
say that she did a bunch of or they did a bunch of research to figure
Correct.
it
Mhm.
out. Mm. I don't like it.
It's wild to me that the Heartstone still works after being cracked, though. What was the point of cracking it then? Yeah, it released him, but then it still works.
I still
Shouldn't it
think
just be
Yeah, well, because
broken?
it's not completely destroyed, and again, I think it is weakening over time, it just didn't obliterate it like
mhm.
maybe it could have if she had dropped some more blood on it. Yeah, people are getting their powers more and more frequently everywhere, so it seems like over time it's
I
getting to
don't
the point where they'll have their
I don't think he's only been there. He was only there since the Blood Ages. They said that Omnos was gone within a few years after the forging spell happened. I think that the forging spell was
was.
like a part of that because that was supposed to.
Yeah.
They all gave up their magic. He never gave up his magic because he didn't find a mate, so he was gonna be eternal or whatever. I think they locked him in there, a part of the forging magic.
Well, because they
And
said they
that's why
had to
they
give a great personal sacrifice, and that Omnos was it.
And
That's
I think that they have to go back and renew the forging magic every year to keep him there, was what it really was with the forging magic, was to keep him there.
you think the
And
crowns
was
all
the
knew that?
cost having the borders then? Like, no, I doubt that all the crowns were aware of
Yeah, I
that.
don't think so either.
But I wonder if that was the cost, was having all of their magic then separated. I wonder if that's the cost to keep him locked up, was part of that.
Well, and
And
they said that they became mortal, not mortal, but not eternal anymore for their mates, but maybe that was the
maybe it
real
was more
cost, and it
for,
was not
yeah,
not as love
freely. Yeah,
oriented as all of that, because they probably knew that their
maybe.
brother was super dangerous. It was going to
Mhm.
go the same way their previous planet had gone, and he
Mhm.
was essentially invincible unless all of them took him out, and they couldn't
See,
kill him.
we have written he wanted her blood to break his chains. Are we sure he wasn't chained?
That's
I think his chains is metaphorical to.
Was okay, okay. I wasn't sure. I really thought he was still
I
chained for
thought he
some
was
reason.
also, but I don't know. It's fine.
I
I don't
mean,
feel like
maybe
'Cause
he was.
I thought she couldn't break those. I thought that was, like,
there was
one of
real
the comments
yeah,
she made.
Yeah, maybe
Doesn't really
because that's
Yeah,
why
maybe
she
he
could
was still.
count how many steps into the door it would take before he could reach
Mhm.
her.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Which now picturing that is so much more wild to me, because he would have been, like, what, then hiding from her that whole time in a dark like,
Yeah, he was. He was quiet the
No,
whole
no, but
time
that's
they were there. How creepy. How
that's what
creepy.
I'm saying, like, that's so much creepier to
well.
me,
She
like,
only
he's just
went
like,
over there. What, twice
No.
to see
I
if he
know,
was
but
there?
he still didn't say anything and kept quiet and hidden.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking creepy. I don't like that.
Mm.
I don't like that at all.
I was surprised the Arboros Queen was actually a sympathizer of the Guardians because she's also half descended, half mortal. I
I
was
think
not.
there's a lot more halfies out there than we think. And they're
I
the most
Agreed.
powerful. Once again, they're the most powerful.
but
Mhm.
when it came to her giving her vote and she basically betrayed Orly and Diem to save her people instead of
So
saving
mad.
everybody, she only wanted to save her kind. I was
I
very
know.
disappointed in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just
I
like
agree.
the deception that they had crafted to fool Diem into thinking that she was trapped so that she wasn't like accused of being a part of all of it. Like that's a lot.
I know.
I knew that Sophos was also a rat when they went through all of that, and she
Coward.
deceived her too. Like, I knew that that was probably going to happen. I would be lying if I said I didn't start thinking I had overreacted and that she wasn't bad the way that I had originally thought she was. But then when she showed her true colors, I was like, ha! I was right. Instincts. You
See,
had
I
me
think
fooled there for a hot second because you're cool little realm where everybody's nice and everybody likes each other, but
it's
you.
funny how you see the bad in most people in our books, and I try to see the good in everybody, and then Bree's like, like
I
I
can be
can see.
swayed. I can be swayed either
I
way.
Tell
know.
me more. Tell me more. But I'm like, no, they're good. And you're like, nope. I knew they were bad the whole time. But meanwhile,
And I'm like, "Well."
It's my 6. I am
I know.
suspicious of everyone
I
until
know.
proven otherwise.
But my 8, oh, I guess my 8 makes sense because then I'm like, everyone needs to have like a fair and just, like, it has to be fair. Like, you can't just going around accusing people of shit because you don't like them.
And then here I am with my 9, just trying to keep the peace and all things. Ah! It really does
Woo!
reflect our enneagrams, everyone. So sorry.
Okay. So after Diem finally meets her dad, and then Arlie has a revelation after she sees him in real life when they go to the Guardian camp. What we thought was Montios is really Omnos land, because that's the forgotten land part that everyone keeps seeming to die or go missing from. Luther decides, or not decides, basically convinces Diem that they should go to Sophos just real fast so she can put her foot in there. And
that was intense.
She
was
was rocked for days.
She got fucked up.
This is where the flame root powder could have come in handy, because clearly that was making all of those way less intense.
Because this is the first one that she's walked over without being numbed or unconscious or anything like that, and she felt the full everything of this immense power
for days.
For
it's like
days.
3
days,
almost 3 full. Yeah.
Well, and they were like intense powers, because obviously spark, goddamn, but then the whole memory thing, I was like, that would be so intense, both of those. Like,
well, and for someone like her too, who feels things, she's definitely an empath in that she feels things so heavily. So having to relive the worst parts of her life, her biggest failures, every time when she murdered people, when she didn't save a patient, when her father died, like having to relive those so vividly.
Yeah.
I
mean,
wouldn't do well.
thankfully, she was able to control her power and be able to just pick and choose what she wanted to relive and what she wanted to remember, because I would hate to be in a perpetual loop of remembering heartache, because those seems to be the ones that you remember the most, or the ones that hurt the most.
Yeah.
yes,
So, no, thank you.
I know.
And then guess who we run into in Sofo City while we're trying to get the ruler to come out and play and chit chat with Luther and Diem. Oh, it's Perth, and let's not forget Teller. Oh my god,
I knew it.
He was.
I literally highlighted it.
Mad at her.
Yeah, he was. I highlighted it when the Sophos ruler was like, "Yeah, we recently had a new mortal come from your land." I was like, "Motherfucking Teller!" God
I didn't
damn
pick
it.
that up at all.
Oh, 100%.
Did you, Brie?
Yeah.
Damn it!
Sorry. It just made sense for it to be Teller.
I just didn't even think about it.
Especially because he had just learned that he had been invited beforehand.
Well, we didn't know that.
He had found out that he had been invited and she had not told him, and he was very mad about it then. And then obviously we ended up here, and it was...
I thought, because she didn't know that he knew. He found out about it. I don't know when technically, but when he's like, why? Because they were talking.
Oh yeah, because and Lily had hid it from him too, and he was
he
big
didn't
mad
know about
that
Lily
too.
until he was there.
Yeah, and they broke up, or he broke up with her because Remus got in his mind and was like, do what's best for her. You're not even going to live long enough anyway, and she's going to live forever.
Another thing that Remus needs to answer for.
Yes.
He's got a lot to answer for. Honestly, I'm just coming up with a lot of creative ways to kill Remus, but Sorai, let's give him to Sorai. She's got her number. She's got his number at this point, with the amount of times that he has strapped her down, and
that could be of her own volition. It doesn't have to be Diem giving any sort of order. That could be her own.
What about a little prick of Godstone? Like just a little. You don't even know. You don't even know that you got like poked with
just
it.
like slow death. Yeah. Okay, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He knows it's coming.
Our hit list just became a specific how we're gonna kill him list.
And it's kind of dark. We kind of went dark with it a little bit. We weren't even like,
we're reading a bunch of crazy
You're gonna suffer, and we're gonna be happy about it.
Correct.
I thought it was interesting that just like Diem, the Sophos Queen King, also wanted to be referred to by their first name. And I was like, there are little aspects of what she wants in this realm, a little bit of aspects of the Montios that she likes in their realm. I thought it was kind of cool. But Toriel's a coward and obviously has lived, sheltered, and their poor Gryvern is so he's so fat. He's so fat. He just like
fat and slow,
a little
just like her
pudgy.
guards. Her
Yeah,
guards are fat and slow
they're like
too. They've
all
never
they
had
do.
to lift.
The only thing they do is deal with book thieves, and I'm like, really? That's all they do?
I know, isn't that wild?
No.
Which
Mhm.
is crazy when they said they had such a high addiction rate there of mortals. I mean, I guess they just kick them out then.
No, they
If they
have
do
a high
anything wrong,
addiction.
they just get kicked out.
Well, because they're staying,
They're trying to keep up with their descended
yeah, or they're trying to, like, do things to
counterparts.
stay awake so that they can
But the
Oh, it's
mortals
so
are only
sad.
allowed there because when by invitation. So if they do anything wrong, they just kick them out. It's
Yeah.
not like they need to put them in prison or anything. They're just like, bye. And that's
well,
a worse fate.
but the thing is they can't go home because the reason why everyone thinks that or the guardians think that the mortals who go there die or end up as an experiment is not 100% inaccurate because some of them do die in experiment because they
But they
volunteered for
choose
that.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we
But
believe this whole story?
I think so. I did. I did. Tell me. I don't know. Now I'm like worried.
I don't know because who was it that we
Stuart,
met that like
Stuart,
it
cute little teenage Stuart.
yes.
He's
And
very
mind you, he is
happy.
a teenager,
He's like
but
17. Mhm.
correct, but like he I know, and the way he's obsessed with
I
Diem
love
had
it.
me cackling.
Mhm.
He just seemed so happy being
Yeah.
there and talked so
Well,
highly
everyone
about
did.
it. That's where I felt kinda convinced that it was a
Same.
voluntary thing,
Yeah.
because of how all the mortals talked about it. If it had just become like, had been coming from the ruler, it would have been different from
Mhm.
me, but
Mhm.
Stuart was so adamant about how wonderful
Well,
it
and they've
was,
been
Yeah.
there for,
and
like, 9 years out of the 10 that they had
correct.
permission
Mhm.
Mhm.
for, so they were trying to get an
Get extended.
extension to be there a lot longer, and I thought it was cool
Mhm.
that they gave him a job even though he's not the one that they wanted. They allowed families to come there also. It wasn't just the
Correct.
ones that were super smart that helped them with their
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I think like I they convinced me. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's real. And even though Sophos did some bad at the end, I kind of believe that maybe they were doing it really because they are desperately protecting their realm. They
Yeah.
seem very, very protective of the realm. They kept having these moments of like understanding and these little looks and
Mhm.
these little things at the end there where it's like, okay, yeah, she sucks. But behind the basis of all this is she thinks that she is protecting her realm and that this is going to be the way to do it. So I'm
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know if they are really a bad person or are just,
Misguided.
yeah, and just
Yeah.
protecting the realm because it is a place of peace, it seems like, and
Yeah.
prosperity. And they're doing
Well
really well. Like it, I mean, out of all the places that we've seen thus far, this is the
Uh,
place that I would
Well,
want to be.
and it
Like
seems like
it was,
they seem like they wanna take care of their citizens because even though they value hard work, they still want them to go into their curiosity mode instead of just experiments and learning and stuff
yeah,
like that because, like
like culture
yeah.
and music. Like
Mhm.
they have events every night so that they're going out and meeting their neighbors and
Yeah.
learning from them. And yeah, and really,
yeah.
all the mortals that we meet there are very happy. And if you think of a lot of intellectuals, as far as going through like the ones that volunteer to die for experiments and stuff, there are a lot of intellectuals that would die for their life's work
Yeah.
to
100%.
figure out something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's not unheard of at all
Well, like the
in the
guy that
scientific
Agreed.
realm.
invented the X-ray, right? His wife died because she was the one getting X-rayed all the time, and all that radiation killed her. And I'm sure she volunteered, but she didn't know she was going to die. But she volunteered to. Well, I don't know if she
Yeah.
volunteered. I don't really know what the relationship was there, but you're right. So
There's a lot of
Well,
people that would die
and
for their work if it's their life's work
yeah.
though.
yes. Well, and they knew so much at that
Hmm.
point. I don't know how old they were, but they'd had access to all of this knowledge and they were clearly harboring certain things
Mhm.
because DM picked up on deceit many
I know,
times
but if she'd
in
only open up her Umbros freaking mind and just heard everything that this
I
person was
know.
thinking.
I know. I feel you. But I really think that drove a lot of their choices was all of this knowledge they had. They really thought they were making the best decision. And
See?
so yeah, they're not my favorite,
Yeah. See, and then
but
I I get where like reading history you can learn from it, but there's some history that's been written on one person's point of
Falsely.
view, and you
agreed.
can't
I agree.
base all of your knowledge on that one. It's just like when they said that
I
poultice
agree.
doesn't work. We've already like as soon as they saw what she made to heal everyone from their godstone wounds, they're like, that doesn't work. And she's like, yeah, it did. It worked on one person. She's like, one person doesn't make it like a real thing. You need to experiment on stuff like this.
That
Mhm.
whole conversation was comical, let me tell
Mhm.
you. And I love that they did not see that she had added
Yes.
her blood.
But Luther didn't see it
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
He watched. He came up and he asked
he
her,
yeah,
Did
"Did
you oh,
you
that's right. Did you just
add blood
do
last time?"
yeah.
And she was
but
like,
that's kinda what led to him probably figuring out, like, "Oh, no wonder it didn't work for me initially."
Yep. He just needed her blood.
But yeah, her finally having that revelation, guys, oh my god.
Yeah.
"Yeah,
I was like, "It's about
But it
fucking
didn't
time.
happen
Thank
until
God
the
you can
end of
re."
the book.
I know, but
I
I'm
know.
just glad that it finally happened because that one
Yeah,
was really hurting my soul."
Mhm.
agreed. She
I
just
think
needed
her
to be
blood
able
is
to see
going to
that.
be needed to be given freely also with this.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
let's be real, they would try to bleed her out if they thought that she could cure
no wrong.
Godstone
Agreed.
I was gonna say,
wounds.
I feel like that's where it could get dangerous in Sophos is
Mhm.
if they found that out. I don't think that experiment would be done of free will.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I
because
think
they'd see it
they
as a
would
better
bloodlet.
for the betterment of the entire
Correct.
country. So, yeah. But I like I said, freely given is very, very
It is
prominent,
very important through all of these books,
Consent.
it
which is an
seems.
element that I really like because that
I
drives me
agree.
bonkers in other books sometimes where it's like, yeah, of course they're going to kidnap you and just bloodlet you and blah
Mhm.
blah blah because of your blood, but I love that element.
Yeah.
Agreed. Very much agree. We love consent, guys. We love
We
consent.
love consent.
Love consent.
But yeah, everyone thinks, sorry, I'm going back to this. Everyone, all the mortals that come over to Sophos, their families know that they're alive. Everyone else thinks that they're dead because
Mhm.
they
Correct.
make so much money as mortals there that they would give money to their families over in the other realms. And then like thieves would find
They'd
out.
get threatened.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then that's why they had to come up with that. So that's why the guardians, who are not their families, would think that
Yes.
they just all
Think.
get died in or whatever, they all get killed in experiments and things.
Yeah. Man, this fight was pretty
Ooh,
intense though.
yeah.
When they get attacked, when Ophiuchi finally comes and attacks them, like
Uh,
it's
one of
intense.
and of course they picked the one motherfucking realm that has no goddamn weapons
I
Yeah.
know.
and doesn't fight.
Doesn't
Doesn't
fight at
fight.
all. Honestly, I'm
I was
surprised
like,
they didn't
man.
attack them first because they defenseless.
I'm curious how they decide who they're gonna attack, which realm they're gonna attack first. Because why did they attack Umbros? But they took out a whole fishing village in Maros
I think so. Or
first.
Fauno.
One of those places.
Maros?
I think I want to say it
Yeah.
was Maros. And then they attacked Umbros and killed all of their descended. There was only 100 of them, so I guess it didn't take much. But no, they didn't just take out the centenaries, they took out all the
All
descendant that was there.
descended.
So all the kids that Luther had saved and Zalark was taking care of, they all died. And when
I
that
hope that that comes back that maybe they had, once they heard that Zalaric had left, they followed him
If
to
they had,
Lumnos,
I
like
hope
believing that he would
so.
I
be.
hope so.
Like those little
So,
kids.
Mhm.
But maybe the little kids didn't
ugh.
die. Maybe the little descended kids are
Well,
still
because we
alive.
don't know what's are happening to the kids in
Yeah.
theory.
I hope they're just taking them and doing something. I don't want them to die.
I know. I know because I
Yeah.
really still live for the moment where Luther had that girl make a flower,
I
and I just don't.
He's
I
know.
like,
know.
"I'll
Well,
give it to
and
the
she was
children."
powerful, so, like,
Mhm.
I know.
I wanna see that. Do you think that that Diem is eventually going to be able to shield her allies the way that her father is shielding the mortals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's shielding them like they're impervious to almost anything, it feels like. That shield's super intense. So if she
Yeah.
can do
No,
that to her
100%, I
allies.
think so.
I mean, from the look, when they do Luther's point of view of Diem, I loved that part because he's like the way she just moved, and yes, you could see that she still needed to be more refined in the things that she was doing, but the way
Yeah.
she just distributed her power and the way she carried herself and the way that she was
Mhm.
moving, you would have never known that she's only had power for several
Ugh.
weeks.
Yeah.
I lived for that exchange.
Yeah.
Ah,
Because they were both it was so funny to see because she was so mad.
so
She
mad.
was so fucking mad at him, and he was like, "Look into my head, God damn it! Like, see what
Yeah.
I see."
Yeah.
Because I finally feel like she's, like, understanding him when she goes into his mind. I'm like, "For the love of God, girl,
Mhm.
look."
Look at what
Like,
I
he needs
see. Look in the mirror, baby. Let me show
I
you.
know, and it was that was good. I really liked seeing his point of view because
Well, and
the way he
she
sees her is just fucking insane.
she doesn't talk about her glowing anymore because she doesn't see herself. She'll talk about her hands feeling glowy, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
She was lit up just the same as her dad. Like a moon. Once again, there's a
Mhm.
lot of
They
moon
have referenced
Yeah.
talk. I have started
mm.
highlighting moon every single time they describe something.
How many
Well,
Like
men?
a
I mean, even
moon.
his
Ugh.
coloration
Yeah.
reminds me of a moon, so I'm just like, hmm,
Whose sword do you think she has?
oh,
It's got to be one of the original Kindred, but I wonder whose.
that would be my guess. Yeah. I don't know
I don't know. Maybe
because they don't
it's a
say.
godstone blade. Godstone blade.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it might be an Everflame
Oh,
blade.
Yeah.
Maybe because the kindred or the descendants they use them, they can use them, but I don't remember what the hilt was. I don't remember if the hilt was made of godstone
it was
also.
gold and it like gold and like filigree, and she just felt like warmth and
Yeah. Like it was
rightness.
hers. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that could be from her Everflame side for
Maybe.
Yeah.
sure.
Because
Well, yeah, because didn't they just say it was a part of their history, but it didn't
Like
say
original Kindred history.
or something history. It could have been like the
yeah.
mortal history too, because I mean they had the Everflame tree in bronze there, that's what the secret library was in. So I mean they
Mhm.
had a bunch of old mortal things. So I don't know. But I mean I'm really curious and I
Mhm.
really want to know.
Mhm. How she's gonna get it back.
I don't know.
Stuart's gonna come find her.
I mean,
Stuart!
obviously, we're gonna get
Oh
it
my god.
back, it's just a matter of how.
Stuart and his
Stuart!
little crush
Look
on
what I
Diem
do.
Well,
and Luther being
but
so
also Luther's jealousy. I was like, "Dude, he's 17, first
She's
off,
only
calm down."
20. He's not
I
that much younger than
know!
her.
I
I know,
know
but
that,
when
but,
a
like
20-year-old looks at a 17-year-old, you're like, "You're not even 18."
and compared to fucking Luther,
I mean,
he got
yes.
Yeah.
nothing. He got nothing.
Yes, of course.
But
But
I just loved because you could feel Diem playing into it a little
Oh,
bit,
yeah.
like, "Oh, this
oh,
is kind of
yeah.
She's like, "Mhm."
like, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so
Well, and
funny.
then when
She
she
loves that he
kisses
got jealous.
Stuart on the cheek.
I died. I died. Every time Luther threatened him, I was
The
like,
amount of growling that came out of that man.
Also, speaking about his growling, another reason why I think that they inadvertently mated is because when another male touches her, granted, he does kind of touch her hips. When she's getting on the boat, he like goes feral.
yeah, he does go pretty
Newly mated
feral.
men, what do they get real
They always get real possessive, obsessive.
Possessive obsessive.
They do every time. I mean, I'm kind of here for it, but
What did you guys
but
think
they do.
when Teller had told Diem that Remus is actually really good friends with Doriel, and Remus was the one who begged Doriel to let Teller back in, give him like a spot in Sophos? Or do you think that that's just like the story that they came up with because they were planning on using, like, do we think Remus knew Diem was going to go to Sophos, and then that's why he sent Teller there to control her?
No, he knows that Teller can't control her.
Not to control her, but to use him as not bait, but you know.
I
If
think it was
anything, I feel like it was to protect himself because he was afraid she'd keep trying to come back to Lumnos if Teller was there.
Hmm.
well, and it's win-win for him because then Lily's not with a mortal.
Yeah.
Agreed. I don't think he was
Like, for
very
all we
into that.
know, because he just broke up with her, Lily could spiral and accept a betrothal to one of the
I
houses
know.
now.
I do think there'll be some situation like
I don't
that
think
that's
she'll
gonna
do it. I
piss
think
me
she
off.
follows her heart like Luther does, and she's not going to do it.
I fucking hope
I
so.
hope
I
so.
hope so, but I don't know.
I hope so
I do
because
not know.
no.
Well, if she's like, if it's not going to be for love, because it's not going to be with Teller, so it's not going to be for love, then I will do my duty to my house.
Yeah.
Just like she said she was totally okay
I was
doing
gonna say she
earlier.
said she was willing. Yeah.
Was I the only one who thought that Ophiuchai's Gryvern Zephyrus was like badass scary?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Like,
Also, where
just
the fuck has it been hiding this whole time?
he's just been
It's
hiding. They said
in,
that he's been hiding.
yeah, I'm like in the Deadland area probably, but
Probably. And I wonder if things were going missing there before and he was just eating them.
Maybe.
that's a long
But
ass time for him to just keep chilling.
he is also
But
very
I'm
angry, that Gryvern.
Yeah.
yes, but I feel like he feels just in that because his person was locked up
Yeah,
for
they've
God
been
knows
separated, and he
how
couldn't
fucking
go over
long.
there to save him because
Yes, because I think it was this again, the same spell, and
Mhm.
so he wasn't able to
Go.
go and help him either.
Yeah.
I also don't think she has control over him the way that she has a connection with the other
Yeah.
Gryver, and she
Agreed.
doesn't feel like she does with this one.
Mhm.
Correct. I agree.
And maybe that's because
He's more
it's not
powerful.
recognizing her as heir because the other ones were recognizing her as their next heir.
True. Yeah, he's got a Gryvern, so it means he was crowned for something. So is he crowned for Omnos then? You know,
He
just
is
get a
Omnos.
dang
Again,
it!
he's gotta be
You
up.
think so?
He's gotta be up.
He is
Yes, I
Omnos,
still think
100%.
there's no fucking way he's not.
Okay.
More like you
There's
slap
just
me
no
across the
way.
face with a tortilla if he's not Omnos.
I was gonna say, if he's not, honestly, Kayla and I will be fucking shook forever.
Yeah.
There's just no way that that man is not the Kindred himself. There's just no
Okay.
fucking way.
And then he just gave the
100%.
name Ophiuchai too early to disguise who he was or is?
He probably doesn't want people to know he's a kindred. If he just plays off
Yeah.
like he's a descendant, they automatically think he's weaker and they'll
Yeah.
underestimate him.
They all underestimate him because they think that they can defeat him because DM has been doing all the damn work and they're like, "Oh, now we know. You know nothing. You know nothing. Like
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
you're going to get dead."
You're gonna get dead? Is that what you said?
As I did say, yeah.
You're gonna get dead. I
You're
like
gonna
that.
get
Oh my
dead.
God.
Um the mortal that threw the blade that almost decapitated Diem during the Sophos fight. And then he comes
Mhm.
over to like basically finish her off because she's on the ground. And then another descendant's like, no, leave her alone. She's got the 10-pointed star. And I was like, oh, so is he protecting her? Or that's the part when I really was.
Currently, he has his protection on her, which
But
is that
why?
Because
mark.
he said he would remove it if she either came for him again or if
He's gonna
I
remove
can't
his
remember.
protection if she like
Correct.
came after him
But
again
why would
and
he
like
need
fought
to?
him again.
Why would he protect her?
Well, I think she is still useful to his plans.
Like her blood?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think there's still something to having her alive that maybe we don't fully know yet. But
Well, it could be a thing where he thinks he can turn her to ruling by his side as his true heir,
Mhm.
and they can rule this entire thing
Everything.
themselves. He might still be holding on to that, not out of a place of love necessarily, but out of a place of
yeah,
continuation of.
his line.
Mhm.
Yeah.
agree.
Why do you think DM has that strong urge to not kill him? I feel like it's more than just like there's some good in him. I feel like the way
I
it's
think it's because
described.
it's
It's her
I think it's because
father.
Well, and her sire, I really think there may be something to, you know, especially if he is a true kindred, I'm sure there's something to being sired to
Well,
your
they're all
kindred that, like
reverent to their personal kindred, and when they finally say Omnos and she hears that voice, her godhood has a distinct reaction to it.
You're right. I do
Mhm.
remember that.
And I think it's because he's Omnos, so yeah, that's still rocking Veronica, and I
It
love
is.
that.
I
She's just
just
like, "What?" I love that Kayla and I were like, "Yeah, he's Omnos," and you're like,
no.
"What?" I love your naivety to reading. It
It's
is my favorite thing.
Hey,
I
I
really
mean,
mean that, not as a judgmental thing. I
no,
really
no,
love that you just go in and you're like, "What?"
no. It's
which and
It's
I'm
my favorite.
like I said, this is a perfect example of how I read things. I read that part with Luther looking down at his palm as she was flying or going away on the boat
Mhm.
like
It's
6
gorgeous.
times back to
Yeah.
back because I was trying to get my brain to realize what was happening. I was like in-depthly breaking it apart and looking at all the little things.
Meanwhile, I read it one time but thought something was weird, and you read it one time and thought nothing was weird. That is the difference between the 3 of
But
us, and I
Yes.
love it.
no,
It shows in that
it
moment.
it's
Yep.
giving me what's it called? That one book that we just read, the Sarah J. Maas book, Crescent City vibes, where like light it up. That's like my favorite part in the whole book. And I didn't realize what it really meant. And I'm
I
like, yeah,
know.
this is great. No.
No, but I love that about you so much because it makes these podcasts so much more fun for me because 'cause you're just like, "What?" Like, your mind is blown, and I love seeing that
Yep.
every time. It
Yep.
really does a
I
lot
do
for me.
get excited
I
whenever
mean,
I figure something out, because I don't figure
yes.
things out that easily.
You've been on a roll recently. I feel like
I
you've
was
been
gonna say,
doing
you've been
great.
doing pretty good.
I
You've been
know,
doing
but
pretty
this
good.
time I feel like there's so much that happened. I'm like,
There's a lot that
Yes.
happened.
I can't even.
There was so much that happened. I And again, she, like, hides a lot of little tidbits throughout,
Yeah.
like and they're not always necessarily the most obvious.
Yeah.
And then there's something she, like, reiterates, like, several times, and you're like, "Okay, there's clearly something to this. I don't know
Mhm,
what, but there's
mhm.
something." And then there's other things that are littler, like, she does a good job of
She
having
does
a
a
little bit of
great
all of it.
job. Yeah.
Um,
I agree.
what did you guys think of the teacher?
Oh, great.
Do you know who I'm talking about,
The
Bree? In the
the
I
mortal
schoolhouse
was literally
where Vance
the
is.
mortal teacher?
Oh my god,
Yeah!
I loved that so much. That did so much for
When
me. I
she,
was like,
like, took
"I'm
his
the
ear and,
teacher."
like, started dragging him, like, ooh.
I
I
loved it
love that Diem
so much.
assumed that Luther did all that damage to him, and then we find out that it
It
was
was
this lady
stomping on his dick,
I loved it.
stabbing him, like,
with her heel
with her
in the balls.
I died for that. That was the best thing
Also,
ever. And again, seeing it from his perspective just made it
she's like,
so
"You're
much
but
trying to
better.
kill children? Like, fuck you."
like, Diem, you should have made him suffer a little bit. Like, don't heal him fully.
Dude, I could
Not
not with
his
that.
balls, at
And
least. Let him not be able to
Yeah, like
procreate or
he should
anything.
suffer for going after children a little bit. Don't fully heal him.
honestly, I wish the teacher had killed him. Fuck, that would have been I would have lived for that
Yeah.
But
so much.
I like that Luther put a shadow mask over the kids so they couldn't see what was happening as the teacher wailed
I
on
know.
Vance. He's like, "Pow,
I know.
pow, pow." I can't believe.
I know. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and it was interesting that Luther, like, in his thought process, made the comment, "I know that she's gonna let him go," but he, like, still
Mhm.
decided to I was like, "God damn.
I know.
God damn, and you still brought him."
Yeah.
Well, because
I would have fucked him up. I would have fucked him up.
just leave him
I'm not even
there.
gonna lie.
Just leave him there.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Leave him even would have been better, truly, because then he was pretty fucked up.
But when he
So
was dragging Vance with his shadow, like, over his shoulder kind of situation, I totally imagined
I know.
Independence Day where Will Smith is dragging the alien in his parachute, and he's like, "You like, "What was that?" Like, "You stink," or something happened. And he just, like, yelling at him from behind, like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm
Yeah.
having to do that. You're such a
I
burden."
know.
So funny.
I know.
Yeah.
Ophiuchi could have completely still destroyed Sophos, even
Sophos.
though Doriel had done something to make his shields drop, and that's the only way the teacher was able to, like, start attacking Vance.
I am curious about that.
How it
Okay.
happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because they're not powerful enough to have done something like that. So something I feel like happened.
I had this weird feeling that somehow she had, like, made a deal with him or something. When they came out of the library and nobody was in the streets and the guards weren't around and everyone was acting kind of weird, I was like, did she make some kind of deal with him? I don't know. I was so nervous the whole time they were on the island that, like,
Mhm.
she had done something. I don't know.
I know, but
They, not she,
when
they had done something.
he had come back down and he's like, I know, like, I know who to hurt. It's Luther." And she said, "Please don't hurt my prince." And then he basically said, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Or is it the other way
Mhm.
around? "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Remember.
No. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me thrice, I'm gonna fuck your world up." He said, basically, "Don't do this again, or I'm gonna take off that 10-pointed star on your chest and
Yeah.
it's over."
Yeah,
So he lets them go, which was weird. That's still, like, so
I
weird to me
know.
because he still has so much power and she way more than she does, and he just keeps letting her go. So I'm wondering, like, that's the part I'm like, what is it? Is there
Yeah,
still
he's got some stake in it of keeping her alive for
Yeah,
sure.
or
Yeah.
or maybe he really does
But that's what
love
kinda
her
makes me
as a
feel like
daughter.
when they all disappeared, that maybe Sophos made some kinda deal with him because I feel like that wouldn't have stemmed his vendetta against the Descendant. He would have been like, "I'll let you go, but everyone else in this city is gonna die because he was killing everybody else." So I'm like, I don't know.
Do you think he's been privy to the prophecy to some degree also,
Yes,
though? And, like, there's something to that that
Mhm.
he thinks is gonna happen
I think so.
that's
Probably.
gonna benefit him to some degree? It just feels like, yes, he's let her go too many times,
Mhm,
he's protected her too
mhm.
much, that there's something to that, and maybe I just feel like he knows more, like, than
Mhm.
she does, obviously. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously, but there's gotta be something we're unaware of, I feel like, at this
Mhm.
point still.
yeah, so what is it? Sophos or whatever, Doriel finally reveals to Diem that there was a 10th kindred, and that was Omnos or Ophiuchi or whatever. Meh.
That's really just
I'm still, like, reeling from this revelation, like, "Oh my god, why didn't I think of this?" Anyway, but
'cause you take it as it
I
is.
take it as it is. I'm not that gullible, you guys. Like, I don't know. Anyway, but this information's not written anywhere. It's just passed on from crown to crown in Sophos, and so there would be no place that Deem could ever read this in. But how did she all of a sudden get all these books on how the forging like, she said that she did more research, or they did more research to, like, figure it out, and that this was a spell that they used, and I just don't understand. I don't understand.
But
I
she sensed lies that entire time that
Yes.
Sophos was talking about it. So they knew more about Omnos than they were letting on.
Mhm.
I think that they very much provided only certain books in the library when it was,
Oh,
Luther
like, when they were
and
preparing
her
it?
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, like, because they had brought all these books, and I think those books were helpful to some degree, but there were certain ones that were omitted
Yeah.
that you're not privy to, for sure.
Or they were just distracting them with all the mortal books
I mean, clearly they were distracting
because
them,
she
Well,
wanted to
like
know all the things about the mortals. So then she didn't really even look into anything with the forging stuff.
but they said that Ophiuchi must have been imprisoned on the island just after the Blood Wars, not
Bec-
before when the forging spells had been done.
that was their guess because that's like the
Um,
last record of on a map when that little hut thing where he was at, the little cave,
Yeah.
was actually marked.
Mm,
But it's such highly protected thing that
mhm,
I don't think that they would have necessarily put that on a map. I just
Well, yeah, because they said only information has been passed crown to crown,
mhm.
so
yeah,
it's not even like
Written.
and
so
it's
if something wasn't passed from crown to crown, which I'm sure there has been many times
yeah.
that has not
Yeah.
happened, then because again, Umbros was supposed to pass along her knowledge.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nothing. Some things were left unsaid.
Well, and
Correct.
it's just fishy. The Omnos happened to disappear shortly after the forging.
Mhm.
Agreed.
I don't know. I really wanna read this next book.
So
And
I
badly.
know.
I
I
like
know.
does not give anyone a right to be mean to the author at any way, shape, or form.
Agreed.
But I am seeing where
The
the
frustration.
passion is coming from because it's so
it
good.
is.
It's so
It's
good.
so
She's
good. So,
written a
like,
phenomenal series.
yes, people are just they wanna know so badly where this is going, and that aspect I understand, but it never excuses harassing an author. Like, she's
Mhm.
trying hard, and she pumped the other ones out
Also,
fast,
yes, and it's her first series, and
a
she's done phenomenal.
and
And
they're
like,
dense
Yeah.
in
and
the
fuck, this
best
is the
way.
last
In the
one.
best
This
way,
is the
like, not bad dense,
yes,
like, good dense.
Mhm.
correct.
There's things
But this is
happening.
the last one. She's got to wrap everything up in this next book. Like that, I I just can imagine the pressure of
This
trying
book
to
is
wrap
gonna be
up so
behemoth.
many loose ends because I feel like there are so many loose ends still. Like making sure you've tied everything up with a bow of some kind. Like here's all the information. I haven't left anything.
With an epic
Ugh.
battle in there that is not gonna be short, or it shouldn't be
Oh,
short
it won't
because 'cause we'd be
be.
upset if it was it should be
No,
long.
I think it'll be a similar length, if not longer, quite frankly.
There's lots of
Which
things. There's lots of bows
I
that
would
need to be
love.
tied here, and some of them are gonna
Yeah.
be pretty and
Agreed.
others probably won't be, but
Yeah.
I know, but that's a lot of pressure. I couldn't imagine, y'all. I really couldn't.
Mm-mm.
So let's talk about Luther's planning of the library date and how he got everyone to go there. So she's like, "Wait, I thought we were gonna, have some sexy time tonight." And he's like, "Well, we're gonna have the rest of our lives to do it, but we're only gonna have this one night to repair the roof of this
Mhm.
library. So just go ahead and read, and then you can do things if you want to do things." But like in this moment or in this night that happened, this is when she finally accepts that she wants to be with Luther and sees like a home and a marriage and him as a mate finally. And this is probably what you're
Mhm.
talking about, where she's making this promise maybe to herself. And then I think she does say it out loud too, but it's very similar to what Luther
She
was.
doesn't say mate out loud, but she says pretty much everything else.
Yes. And then she was like, a ring, a mark, and a crown. And so I wonder where her mark,
Mhm.
if Luther has a mark, then she also has to have a mark, right?
Mhm.
Because that other Umbros mated pair, whatever, whenever they touch the mark, then that's when they would feel each other kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then this is where Diem is also, you know, outside when we're not alone, we are queen and my prince. And I just want us to be equals when we are by ourselves. And just Luther and Diem just want us to be equals in everything. And he's like, but also sometimes I even want you to dominate me and make me serve you. And then it gets heated. And then he says, "Answer me, my heart. How do you wish to be?" And I was like, what does to beat mean?
Yeah, I read that over several times, so it was like, "Huh?"
And then he's like, "Do you want it soft? Do you want it rough? Do you want to have me forcefully have you please me, or should I make you beg? Do you want to be taken all night long, or do you want me to make you scream so all of the realm can hear you?" And then she said what she wanted from book 1. She said, "I just want to burn. Make me burn."
Mhm.
And she sure fucking did, like lots of times.
Yes, but also can we recall the moment she's blindfolded and think people are
Oh
watching
my
her and he's
god!
like, "Oh, you kinky bitch. That's what."
She was
No one was
into
in
it.
there?
She was
She
like,
was into
She
it.
was so into it,
She was
and
like,
I love
if it
that
was
he
on my
noted
life,
that.
I would not be able to tell you where which way I really cared about.
the amount of
I
times that
died.
Luther is so turned on by anything that is like a little bit
I know.
dirty sexually.
Or when she uses her power, he immediately gets hard every time.
He's probably walking
Yes.
around with a half chub like all the time.
100% of the time with
At
her.
attention always.
Attention always. Ready to go.
Man, that's gotta hurt. But I
I
mean, it
know.
was a
Ouch.
good
Yeah,
Man,
blue
no
balls.
wonder why
Ready.
his face is always so stern. He always has blue balls.
it was a long time. It was
Long
That was a
time.
really
a
long
long
time.
time. But it was a good scene. Penn Cole did a really good job writing this
Did a
one out
great job.
because
I
you
did
could
enjoy
feel
this
the
one.
passion in all that. You can feel
It
that
was yeah.
this finally ignited, honestly. Like just
Mhm.
so good.
It was sexy, it was sweet, it was everything that you would want
Yeah.
from a steamy scene that has been pushed off that long.
And it wasn't like cringy to me. Like sometimes, whenever people
No.
like write things like
No.
this, you're like, oh God. But this one was
Oh god, maybe I didn't want this whole
but it
time.
was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
She wrote it
it
well.
kind of like
She wrote it well.
how when Henry and Diem were having sex, I was like, oh, I don't like this. I
Yeah.
don't like
Yeah.
this.
Well, I
And we
mean,
were all like, "Ick."
Yeah.
it was a lot of balance. Like going back to balance, it was like him being super dominant, which a lot of people really like, but then he would like immediately
Mhm.
follow it up with being very subservient and sweet and loving. So I think it all just balanced each other out to where it never felt too like ugh. Like,
Yeah.
if he's
No, it felt
just
very mutually beneficial,
Yeah.
yes. Mhm.
which we love.
And they
We love.
Yes.
and then they got an extra day to spend in there, so there was a lot more
Yes, they did.
balancing happening.
I was
I
like, if
died.
they really try to read right now, I cannot.
But
Like when they got in there and he was like, "We're just gonna read." I like that she was like, "You just gave me my literal fantasy." Nah, that's not
Yeah.
happening.
she's like, "We having sex. Take off your pants."
Yeah. I also really like the way that she describes her feelings for him and how she's growing and how she's like, the
Yeah.
love is like literally bursting out of me.
Mhm.
Cause I don't know about you guys, but I can so feel that when you've had those moments of your significant other just like surprising you or doing something that you're just like, I can't contain how much I love
Yeah.
you right now.
Yeah.
It's just, you can feel it in your whole entire body. So every time she described that of him doing these things that just made her love so intense, that is so relatable
Mhm.
Agreed.
completely, where you're like, yes, there are those moments where they just make you burst with it.
You just wanna bite them.
Yeah, you just want to bite them.
I love biting my man.
I know, but that's the feeling is like, I'm just like, I cuteness aggression,
I was
that's
gonna
really
say,
what it
you
is. I
guys
just
have
haven't
cuteness
pushed
aggression,
Yes.
intense
big
cuteness
time.
aggression.
Big time. My sweet little baby. I'm so sorry. You're gonna get bit, girl, in the nicest way. I will not
It
hurt
doesn't
you.
hurt, but man, it makes me
I was
feel
gonna
real
say,
good.
No,
you gotta follow up
I'm
with
not
I'm
going
not
to
gonna hurt you.
fight
You
to
can't just be
hurt.
saying you're biting babies.
Not
I
babies,
just
just fur
munching a
baby.
little.
It's different.
Yeah. I just a little munch. Nothing of pain. I'm not gonna
No,
hurt
you just
her.
basically touch your teeth and maybe press a little bit.
Ugh.
I just want to dice.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, again, girl, I think I'm making you a real chunky baby here,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, if
so
so
she's anything
excited.
like
it'll be
her
some
mom, she's
thighs.
gonna have some thick
I was gonna say she gonna have some thick thighs.
You're gonna have some thighs and a booty. Yes, she
Yeah,
will.
Fill
girl.
out that diaper
For
real
sure.
nice. Um,
Stop.
so when they're
Oh
laying
my
all
god.
there, you know, in the
Yes.
library, fucking up all these books and giving me a little bit of anxiety, Dean finally realizes what kind of queen she wants to be when she gets back to Lumno. She
Mhm.
wants to start a council to govern like
Mhm.
how
Yeah.
Montios does, but half the council would be mortals. But she wants to do it in
Mhm.
Montios and in does she want to do it at Fortos? I can't remember.
Fortos.
In Fortos and in Lumnos. And she's like, that way it'll be self-governing, and then we can still have our home in Lumnos, and we can build it near where my family home used to be. And this is where Luther was
I
like,
know.
ugh, like he kind of was like, right? Isn't
And
that
we can have goats.
yeah. and you're like, "Oh."
I
I like
know,
how
the
I like how
goats!
their story just kept building. You're like, "Oh, we have more than one goat." And they're like, "Yeah, Taran can't be by himself, he's gotta have."
Taran Jr. or whatever he called him.
I died. That was funny, and honestly
Wait,
felt
but
so
Alex,
relatable.
the
he
donkey.
specifically says Taran Jr. needs a mate also. And I was like,
Mhm.
you got yourself a mate already, Luther?
Uh-huh. He knows. Frick,
Mhm.
man.
Oh
There's
yeah, he's known
He
for
there was a lot of
knows.
dreaming happening, and I love that their dreams kept getting bigger, and their family
Mhm.
kept getting bigger. It wasn't just gonna be those 2 anymore. You have to have Teller and Lily, and you have to have Taran because they won't. I mean, he'll be so mad at you, and you have to have Alix the donkey there too, because if you're gonna have Taran the goat, like, you can't not have another animal there that, to make him happy, Then Zalark's gonna be there, and Eleanor's gonna be there too. I just loved how much bigger it got, and then it wasn't just an apple tree, it became an orchard, and for
Mhm.
Sorai, so that she could also still be there, and I thought it was very, very cute. It was a cute moment.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now they're going to the island, and that's when I was like, something's happening. But this is when he was looking at his hand and he was like acting all weird and he wasn't being allowed. I'm like, oh, something's weird. But I wasn't
Mhm.
thinking that he saw a mate thing on his palm. I was just thinking like something's weird. Why can't he come? Why is everyone like acting funny? Where is everybody? Kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
And then when Doriel had that dagger on the boat, and we're like, wait, I thought we can't have weapons here. But every fucking crown had a weapon there. Not just a weapon, like multiple weapons just hidden.
I know, they're just like, fink, pulling up their shirts, pulling it all out. I'm like,
I
really?
know.
And
Y'all aren't
Doriel's like,
checking
do
that?
none of you follow the rules? And I'm like, shut up. You're the biggest deceiver. You planned this whole damn thing. Like, what do you mean? Does anyone follow the rules?
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
curious what their relationship is with the Maros King.
I think they just said that they were close.
I know, but what kind of close?
I guess I didn't get anything but friendly vibes from them.
I think it would not be unreasonable for any of these crowns to potentially have relations of some kind between each other,
Mhm.
especially two different powerful people, other than what's sad is if they did have offspring, it's only one of them's gonna win out,
True.
so
Mhm.
And
that's where it gets a little messy.
yeah, I feel like with a crown that could get
But,
real
I mean,
messy.
Sophos being gender fluid, maybe they don't want kids, so then it's not as complicated, I guess.
Yeah,
Mhm.
plus we don't really
I
know
don't know.
if what Doriel is.
Yeah, genetically, I don't know that they said because 'cause we've been pretty androgynous the whole time, to
Yeah.
my knowledge.
Mhm.
I don't know of any.
Well, and they say that there's descended in almost every realm that are of neither genders.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh.
it
So
could
that's
be.
why I don't know, but I just felt every time when they were interacting on the island, the way they kept looking at Maros and Maros kept looking at them, but maybe it was just like the conspiring that they were doing that made it suspicious to
It
me.
could be. It could just be that.
Yeah. I just thought that it was the fact that they had a pact and she knew that she had to convince him because of the bonded bargain and blah blah blah, and I
Yeah,
think they just have
that bonded bargain, that fucking I read that a couple times, I'm like, "Okay, okay, like, this all makes sense." I was trying to read the loopholes.
Yeah, but when you're that level of intelligent,
You
she
really do.
best not lose her
like,
powers.
I know, but she's not gonna
no.
because there's no way they're gonna kill Ophia Kai. There's no way.
I could see someone else
No.
killing him and then now she truly is immortal and she can be happy being immortal and
I yes. I do I feel like if that happens, then she could be immortal. And then I don't know, then Luther would be king. What happens if she dies? If she dies, then all the other realms that she took over for, that is crowned for, do they like will she see who her successors will be?
Oh,
I don't know.
Doriel brought Teller
Mhm.
there because to
Yeah.
convince Diem to do the right thing and give her blood up so that she can be trapped there forever. But this was only after the Umbros Queen Ursel had come back to the island to cast her vote. And when she said Diem does not deserve my vote, I for sure thought it was a no.
Oh, I
oh,
did
I did
not.
not.
I
I did
100%
not.
was like, "Oh, she's about to fuck their world up because Sophos
Yeah,
just showed her hand."
And she said multiple coronations.
100%.
And so I'm like, multiple? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, for Lumnos. And Oh my gosh! I just now got it. Oh my
Yep. Yep.
Girl, I literally cannot. No, I 100% thought she was going to give her a vote, but that she didn't think she deserved it. The way she phrased it was so specific that I was like, oh no, she's still going to give you her vote, but
But
she's
she
kind of
did give
mad
the vote,
about
but
it.
then they killed
Well,
her.
She did.
So
and
technically
she
she
likes
still
to fuck
won.
shit up.
Technically she got all the votes, and so she should not have been voted off the island.
She wasn't voted off the island for that reason. She is pardoned, but they now have secured her by blackmailing her with Teller. It has nothing to do
Yeah.
with her
That's right. So
pardon.
they
She
Yeah.
still,
is
She
fully
still got
pardoned.
pardoned.
but they didn't reinforce the former forging spell. They made a new one.
They created a new
Created
one.
different boundaries. Huh. I wonder how they decide what boundaries will.
I don't think they created new boundaries. They just created new stipulations around the island. They like revised it basically.
Which apparently they'd done before, it sounded like. Obviously, a long, long time ago. But
I think they did that before with Omnos.
yeah.
For some reason, I thought that Ophiuchi was going to save the day and save Diem. Kayla,
Girl, in what La La Land do
I
you
don't
live in
know.
sometimes?
I
I
live in a
love you.
fantasy land where, there's good people. Diem's gotten to me. You guys help me.
Did not think that for a
I
second.
did. I thought he was going
No.
to swoop down on his nasty Gryvern, the mean one, and just because he needs her. He's trying to protect her, and I thought that he would come and save
Nah.
her so she wouldn't, because he would know about the Guardians being on the island and giving up that space to the descendants.
Yeah, potentially.
So that's what I'm like, why would he not come and save her if he's trying to offer his protection? That's what I thought. I don't know. I still I still think there might be some good in it.
I appreciate that about you, but I disagree.
Okay. Caleb's like, absolutely disagree. No, thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah. It's interesting what she says at the end, Yourself.
Mhm.
Because what does the Rosebane do
I
again?
don't remember. I was gonna look that up.
I don't either.
Take the Rosebane, use my key, heed my there's clearly also something in the Umbros library we need to find.
Yes.
Yes.
And or she needs to fucking finish the journal. God damn it. Fucking what's his butt? I mean, I guess he's dead now, so you can't sorry. Sorry, not sorry. And I'm just trying to remember everything she said to Diem. Because she says, heed my wording, especially about my heir, which, I mean, obviously is her. And don't forget what you pledged to sacrifice to see your plans through. What?
That is the only time that Rosebane is mentioned in the entire book.
I'm gonna look in the other books here. Hold on.
Because I want to say it was mentioned at some point.
I
Was it in her
had
mom's...
never heard that before, so I was like, "Oh, what is that?"
Okay, I'm looking in the first one.
I am also.
Yeah, nothing in
Oh, here it
Glow.
is. Slip Rosebane into her morning tea if she breaks my little brother's heart. Kills people. In the right dose, Rosebane just makes you a very teeny tiny bit temporarily insane.
What does a lot do?
I don't know.
Or does it unleash, hey, insanity and
It does
maybe
something
it
to the kid.
actually
Yeah, so they used the word Rosebane. Let me see here. One of two. So let me rephrase. So I need to hunt Lily down and threaten to slip Rosebane into her morning tea if she breaks my little brother's heart. So that was the first one. And then let me see if I can find the second one. And then didn't say I'd kill her. I shrugged irreverently. In the right dose, Rosebane can make you, or just makes you, a very teeny tiny bit temporarily insane. Oh,
yeah, but
they
then
used to call it God's horn because those who survived it claimed they could talk directly to the gods.
See? The Rosebane's important!
oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
But man, it is only mentioned in that first book. Otherwise, this
Mhm.
is the only other time she brings it up. Damn, girl, fucking Penn just throwing in these little
I love a good
I
loop
knew it.
around.
I was like, there's gotta be something to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's maybe how well, so then maybe she doesn't die, and that's how she talks to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Or maybe she does die and she talks to them anyway.
I don't know. I bet there's a reason for this rose vein. I just think she's gonna have to take that to talk to him
Yeah.
now. But yeah, and then use my key. I mean, we're gonna have to
Because
learn
the keys
something
in
from the
from the
library.
library.
Ooh,
Heed my
this
warning,
next book,
especially about
y'all.
my heir. And that's when she was like, that one's going to be your hardest adversary, which makes sense. Don't forget what you pledged to sacrifice to see
I
your plans
know.
through, which is everything.
I feel like I really need to go over everything Ambrose said about the heir now.
Mhm.
Now knowing it's her, I need to reread that little chunk because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there might be something I'm forgetting from that is gonna be important.
I hate that Igneos killed your cell. I hate it. He's like, I just needed to stab somebody, and she was the one who was annoying me the most. And
He's the worst.
I know, but
He's
I'm
definitely on the
glad
kill
that she
list.
got him, though. I'm glad she got him.
God,
Well,
stone
yeah.
nails. Are you kidding me? Ruthless. So
I
hurt.
know.
I
I wonder
love
if it was
it.
one of
Ooh.
those slippy, like little tiny rings with the little point on there that you just keep on your.
No, because she had said
Really?
even when they were in Umbros that she had something on her nail. It was like mentioned earlier.
That's
I
dangerous.
feel
I
like.
mean, the amount of
Mhm.
times I just been whatever.
Scratch myself accidentally.
Do you know how many times I've
I
gotten
know.
mosquito bites and I scratch the shit out of myself because it itches so bad that it breaks
Mhm.
skin? Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, but I mean, in theory, their skin's pretty tough. Like, I still feel like it would take some level of intensity,
Except they can still
hopefully,
be
to.
concussed, so it's fine.
I can't. I know. That still
Yeah.
kills me every time.
So Igneos was the one who stabbed Diem in the end. And for some reason I thought it was gonna be Vance.
I did too.
Yeah, but again, I think Igneos knows that she's also going to be his heir. I think there's something to that he is like, if I kill her first, she can't be my heir.
Oh.
Because I think he's going to die. Like,
He is
there's
gonna
just
die.
no
Yeah.
fucking
That
way he
poultice
doesn't
is
die.
not
And
gonna
I
work.
think
Yeah.
correct. And so I think he knows that she's the one who's supposed to follow him. And so his thought process is, I kill her first, she can't be.
Yeah.
But you know who
I think that was part of it.
do you know who else died on that island? Perth.
I was shocked
know.
that Teller dropped him to grab
I
Luther. I
know.
was like, I did not think he had it in him.
I mean, I don't think he did. I
I
think it was just like a
know.
quick reflex, like, oh, someone else is, you just grab the one who's more important. I don't know. It's not like
I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't know. I don't think he
Like,
thought.
he specifically chose Luther.
I know, but
he did.
sometimes it's like a quick decision, right? It's not like I'm thinking about this.
Agreed. And while I'm sure Perth and him had grown close, there is something to saving the love of your life, because let's be real, he loves Lily, brother, and also his sister's mate, essentially. Like, I mean, this is just the
Well,
like
if anyone
classic.
can
If
save her, it's gonna
two
be
people
him.
were drowning, who are you gonna pick? He's gonna pick Luther,
Yeah.
sadly. I'm not saying it wasn't
On
sad, but
Perth would gladly die.
correct.
But
For
just
you.
the
I
way he
agree.
them.
did when he like,
I know.
I cried.
I know.
I'm gonna cry. I'm
Mhm.
crying.
I'm crying.
I'm crying.
I love you so much. No, it was a very sad, sweet little death for sure.
Mhm.
I didn't like it. I didn't want him to die.
I mean, I didn't like it, but paid tribute well, I feel
Mhm.
like.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
What do you guys think we're gonna see in this next book?
Everything because it has to end.
Everything because it has to end. I agree.
I mean, obviously, she's got to get off this island somehow.
God, I
think
hope that's
now
not prolonged.
Do you think
I don't think
Ophiuchi
so
will
because
save her? Or do you think Luther will?
no.
I mean, he could. She absorbs and
Magic?
things,
Shields?
magic,
Mhm.
shields.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, words. Like the shield and Lumnos around that was forging magic that
Mhm.
she just shattered. So he could very well come and shatter whatever forging magic they just did.
True, because it's not on the island, it's around the island, so maybe he can just shatter that.
Mhm.
But no one
Again,
uh,
I think now knowing this Rosebane situation, I think she's gonna talk to the Kindred, and that's really going to
do you think
change
Rose
how
do you think Rosebean is
I
on the
think that's how
island?
she'll get off.
Mm.
Well, well, she must have given it to her because it says, "Take the Rosebane." Did she give her some like, did she slip her
Mm-mm.
something?
You're not
How
supposed
did
to
we
know.
get it?
I think it might be on the island, just like the flame root. Who knows?
Maybe. That could be. I could see that. There's a lot of shit growing there that seems helpful to certain
Yeah, so things that are,
certain
Yeah.
like,
problem.
deadly or hurtful to
Yeah.
the descended grows on that island or are on
Yeah.
the
But
island.
no, I just feel like the Kindred are gonna have to help her in some way, either through knowledge,
Mhm.
through maybe they have to give their essence over to be able to get her out. Like, I
Mhm.
think there's gonna be something to that
Yeah.
effect
Do you think she's
to get
Mhm.
her out of there.
huh. Do you think she's gonna, rise like the phoenix? Basically, she do you think she died? Do you think she's gonna die? Like, he really stabbed her
I
and
don't
she died?
know because,
I
like
truly
you
did
said, her dad didn't die.
I did think that she was going to die until you were talking about then
The
where would her
Rosebane.
crowns go, and there's no way that her crowns get passed on, like, she very much so
I don't
needs to
think
have
so.
all the crowns, so I don't think she can fully die, but some kind of transformational thing is happening.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we think
The
that
Everflame looks
any
like
other I mean, Perth wasn't a main character, but he was a good guy. Do we think any other good guy that we see more frequently is gonna perish?
probably. Yeah.
I think we're gonna
I
lose
mean,
Gryverns.
Hmm.
yeah.
I don't know.
Do you
Yeah,
think we'll lose Eleanor?
no.
What
No,
about
I don't
She's
really
not
get the
gonna be
vibe.
anywhere near fighting.
is Ileana on your guys' kill list?
Oh, fuck yeah, I'd love for her to die. She's not, like, as high up, but, like, I'd be fine with her dying.
I mean, I don't know that she's on my kill list. She hasn't done enough for me to be like, I wanna murder her. She's on my highly, highly dislike list,
Oh,
and
I was gonna say she's on my d
she's
Yeah.
like one
yeah.
move away. If she does anything effed up and, like, murders someone, then yeah, she can get moved
I'm
onto the kill
sh
list, but
I'm sure she'll end up on the kill list. How do we feel about the fact Eamon kind of fucked up
He's
on this book? Like, he actually told his dad what's up, even though, again, Diem giving him the fucking benefit of the doubt for the bajillionth time. I literally cannot.
it's
Um,
hard. I feel like childhood trauma is just fucking everything up in this book. It's
mm,
fucking up reason, and it does. It does in real life, and it does in fantasy books.
mhm,
Trauma sucks, and he's still trying to seek acceptance
yeah,
from the people who he views as, his betters or whatever. He's still seeking acceptance from them. So yeah, I hate it. I don't like that he did that, whether it was with good intent or not. Actually, I don't think it was good intent, but I don't
mm.
like him.
see, he's still one I could see a redemption arc for because he's been so back and forth.
Yes.
Where you're right, I've struggled with Henry just because he's been so fucking steadfast in his one
Mhm.
directional
Mhm.
thinking. But Eamon's been enough wishy washy that I could actually see him having a redemption arc.
Yeah, yep.
I can see him having one, but I don't really necessarily want to see it happen.
I was gonna
Mhm,
say, it's not something I'm, like, looking for, but I could see it
Yeah.
just because of where his character has lied, where,
mhm.
again, with Henry, I will struggle with that one a little more just because he has been so
Ooh, do you think Lana will die?
No. Henry would never
no.
come back from that.
Do you think Henry will die? Nah, because she
No,
loves
I
him.
think now that they have the 2 of them together, that she's gonna give a good out for their happily ever after.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, she does kinda give me that vibe too, like, she doesn't really wanna kill her little duos that she comes up
Mhm.
with. I feel like Taryn and Zalaric won't die. Those would surprise me if they
Mhm.
die.
Alix?
I could see
Ooh,
I could see
yeah.
her dying. She's one I could see dying for sure because she's so steadfast towards the crown, like, I could see her
Yeah.
dying, and that one will both gut me
Yeah.
and impress me at the same time.
No, but
Like,
Mhm.
that
have a lot of feelings about that one, but I could see that
yeah.
for sure. That's kinda the first one I thought of when you said that, I was like, "That one,"
Mm.
because we don't have, like, a love interest for her.
Her mom?
I could see her mom dying. Yeah, I could.
Ooh, Yeah.
I could see
I
that
feel like
one.
her mom would sacrifice herself for Diem or tell her.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't think Teller will die. I don't think Lily will die.
Mm-mm.
If honestly any of the ones I say that I don't see dying die, I'll be a little crushed, guys,
I'll just
because I really love all of
all of
them.
them. Do we think that there's gonna be a happily ever after in this book, or is it just gonna be like a dystopia kind of situation and that's how it ends?
I think
I'm
it'll be a
getting
happy.
a yeah,
Yeah, happily ever after, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
yeah. I get
I hope
the
so.
I get that vibe from
I hope
her,
that they're
Mhm.
like,
really
as an
mated.
author.
That'd be so great if
Yeah.
they really
I was
were.
gonna say that'd be great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I hope all the Gryverns love Diem and follow her rule and they don't die.
I know. She has a cute little Gryvern
She got a
army, and
little
they all live
pet.
happily ever after,
Yeah.
and Sorai can be with her little mate Gryvern, and they
Mhm.
can have little Gryvern babies.
And they could multiply. Do you think that she's gonna be able to break their chains that they wear around their neck that keeps them in servitude to the kindred or to the descendant?
100%.
I hope
100, yes,
so.
agreed.
I hope that's one of the
Oh,
things that happens because just the pure joy that Sarai did had when they were flying around. Oh my gosh, I just want
I
that for all of
know.
them because they haven't had good rulers that they had to protect, like
I know.
forcibly had to protect. And so they just need someone who loves them. And I feel like Diem will love them.
Yeah. No, I think they'll be a happily ever after for sure. She's just geared up too many couples to not
Yeah,
have some happily ever after at the
true.
end. And again, we've had this whole vision for what that life would look like now to
Mhm.
like completely obliterate it. I just can't
Do
see
we
it.
think
Nope.
that Zalaric and Taryn will be mated?
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Taryn wants a mate so bad. Are you kidding me?
He
Yes.
doesn't know.
He needs one. He needs one.
Well, and
I
I feel
know.
like they got so attached so quickly that they
Mhm.
sensed it in each other almost. Like, I think
Yeah.
as much as it is a chosen thing, I think there is an innateness to it too, of like you can tell that like this person is
It's
your person.
so
Cause like,
cute.
yeah.
No, I love
He,
them.
yeah, I think it's going to be very, very sweet. All right, you
Yeah.
guys, this is the third book. What do you rate it?
This has been my favorite one of the 3 so far, by far.
Mhm.
Um, there's just so much that happens in this one.
Mhm.
They finally get together.
Mhm.
They finally.
And
Mhm.
and, like, I feel like we've been talking since book 1 about things we had been wanting to happen, and it just
Mhm.
is like, it's this book. It's this
Mhm.
book that we turn that tide.
Mhm.
Diem gets way less annoying
Mhm.
because she finally gives into her like,
Mhm.
I just like so much of this
The
one.
growth that every character had was
Yeah,
so
like,
good.
Mhm.
honestly, this one's, I mean, probably up there with a 5 for me. Like, I really liked this one. I don't know if there's anything that, like, really brings that down for me because it's just so good, and, like, the things I don't like don't make me not like the
Yeah.
book, they just make me not like certain characters. So, yeah, I think I'd have to give it a
Oh,
5,
I
and I
love
don't know
it.
that I've given one a 5 yet. But that's where I'm at. I would happily reread this book.
Kayla?
Yeah. Uh, I agree. I don't think there's anything that I can knock. I loved this book. And even like going through it with this and the fact that we broke it up into 2 parts, which was so necessary. I'm like, holy cow. These are 2 full books in this one
Mhm.
book. We just we did
Mhm.
get a lot of answers that we wanted. We got a lot of the interactions that we wanted. Yes, there's a lot that's still open, but there's nothing that I'm like, "Hmm, that was a
Yeah.
bummer." I liked I I loved this book. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I'd give it a 5 too.
I agree. I do agree that this one was my favorite out of the 3 that are out so far.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to the 4th one whenever that one decides to make its debut out.
Grace our
Oh my god, I
presence.
can't
Yep.
wait. But I loved that we got to see a part of every realm and the growth in just the characters, and even if we didn't like them, it still added to the flavor of
Mhm.
the book. It was just I really, really enjoyed all of it, and I am also gonna give it a 5.
Ah! Look
Woo!
at us.
Us all
Penn
agreeing
Cole finally getting us to agree on a 5-star across the
across
I
board.
was
the
gonna say, have
board.
we given any 5
I
stars?
have.
Yeah, I was gonna say V has because she just loves books, but I don't know that you and I have.
I
Did
love
we not give When the Moon Hatched a 5?
I did. I loved it.
But
All right, you guys,
Yep.
that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed reading the last half of the Everflame by Penn Cole. We'll release the next podcast episode 2 weeks from today, September 27th. We'll be supporting a new indie author, and we'll be discussing A Clash of Tides by Olivia Marr. Also, if you like what you hear, then please share it with your friends. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and all major streaming platforms. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye, Book Besties.